Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week of 30 NSG. And on today's show, we're going to be talking a couple of main stories, but then we're going to kind of branch off into other ones. Give me 1 second. That thing always pops up, and I don't know why, and then it doesn't. On today's show, like I was saying, we're going to be talking about the creator of the AI-powered GTA 5 story mode mod unlikely to fight back against the Take-Two after the shutdown. So, obviously, Rockstar always does this. Someone comes out with something cool, and then they say, hey, back off. We don't want to do this. And I'll tell you, I think the reason why they're doing stuff like this because they have the idea or they want to steal the idea. Either way, this is why they do it. We're also going to talk about Delta Force is coming for Battlefield's Broken Crown. And I like how this article says it's coming for Battlefield's Broken Crown and not coming for Call of Duty. But we're going to talk about Delta Force. We're also going to talk about Microsoft measuring Starfield success in the Xbox Game Pass era. And then compared to that, we're also going to talk about Chainsaw Massacre because it also had some numbers this weekend, which is very impressive. And I kind of want to talk about the Game Pass era also with the numbers of like Baldur's Gate 3 and people just saying great things about it and the concurrent player base. And then we're going to talk about Chainsaw Massacre in the same type of capacity, but people look at it and go, it's not a big deal. So all that on today's show. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. All we do is we go over the news and then we just talk about it with chat. You guys are 1,000% part of the show. If you have an individual question that you want to ask me, we're going to try to implement this now, right? So these are the topics we're talking about. Once I'm done with these topics, I have no problems answering your questions. So if you have a question for me, put it in the Q&A. There's a little blue bar up above if you're on mobile. Click on that. You can type in the message. It'll go into a pool of questions, and then later, after I'm done with the topics, we'll go to the questions to keep the content going for you guys. So good morning, Travis. Good morning. Let me see who else is here. Travis, Abu, Kylo. Is it Anbu Inc? Kylo Green and Travis. Thank you very much for tuning in, hanging out. I don't know if it's Anbu or Anbu. Don't know where the breakup is there. Come on, Jesse Mack. All right. So let's start off with the first topic. We talked about this about a week ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago. There was a person that created an AI program, right? We talked about the Skyrim one a couple of months ago, where a guy made the AI where it talked to you. It sounded very robotic or whatnot. Then about 2 weeks ago on GXG, we brought up a conversation about a creator made the AI powered where you could literally talk to the NPCs inside this own story that the guy created. And then the NPCs would talk back to you. So the creator of the AI-powered GTA 5 story mode mod, unlikely to fight back, he got shut down just a couple days ago. So the creator of the eye-catching Grand Theft Auto 5 mod was promoted a living of AI-powered story mode, admitting defeat after Take-Two hauled the mod offline. Only this week, IGN reported that the Sentient Streets mod, which lets players interact with over 30 AI-powered NPCs, each with a unique voice from AI text to speech, and the voice cloning website 11 Labs, and the mod designed for players to have open-ended voice conversations with cult members, police officers, and civilians. But its creator, Block, announced Take-Two issued a copyright claim on their YouTube videos showing that the mod, and they had the mod removed from the Nexus mods. Even Block's account and Netlifty, which was used to host the installation guide for the mod, was suspended. Block mainly removed the mod from GTA5mods.com to avoid legal issues. In a statement clearly exaggerated, Block said that he's never either resources or whether withheld to fight back against Take-Two. He says, quote, I can, of course, raise an objection through YouTube's objection system, but it escalation things illegal authorities, Block said. I'm a single modder who does this in my free time for fun, so I don't have any resources to legal defend myself in the situation. Frankly, I also don't want to spend time on this. So Block accused Take-Two of removing the video from YouTube without prior communication or explanation before the takedown. He also had over 100,000 views before the mod itself was pulled from Nexus Mods, and it has thousands of downloads, Block said. He said, quote, "I must say, as a person who grew up in the Grand Theft Auto series and enjoyed all the games throughout the years, that this hostile attitude towards me and the mod is very disheartening," Block added. He continues to say, "If the real reason of this takedown is really me using the GTA 5 in the video, then one might ask if using GTA 5 in this video is a copyright strike reason. How is it possible that there are millions of YouTuber videos out there, and also very moment that the showcases simply does let players play videos over a decade without any problems?" He says, "Unfortunately, this seems to look like an excuse to attack and take down against the mod, and which is somewhat puzzling to me, considering that this mod itself is both free and open source." He continues to say the mod does not utilize any voice of Grand Theft Auto, nor does it distribute anything it shouldn't. I haven't even included my Patreon link of any other of the mod descriptions or the videos to avoid potential controversy. I'm not a lawyer. As far as I'm aware, mod is not violating any Grand Theft Auto or YouTube policies. Block's project had raised a number of ethic issues around the issue of AI or mods. Block used the standard voice library available on 11 Labs, and even recently used the generated controversial AI voices used in NSFW Skyrim mods. The recent rise of AI has been concern for both writers and actors, causing the voice actors to tell IGN AI is an invisible enemy we're fighting right now. Quote, "Whether you like it or not, or dislike any of the idea of having AI or video games is one thing," Block said in a statement. "However, while the mod itself does not appear to be violating anything, removing the video and issuing a copyright strike without any communication is another matter." Rockstar recently announced it's now officially working with the modding team behind the widely popular Grand Theft Auto 5 role-playing server 5M and RedM, but developed a parent company, Take-Two, also antagonizing relationships with modding community over the years. In 2015, Rockstar banned the team behind the 5M mod, calling the project unauthorized alternated multiplayer services that contains code design and fascinating piracy. The founder of the mod later alleged Rockstar parent company Take-Two sent private investigators to their home to mediate them in shutting down the project. The Take-Two and AI-powered GTA 5 mod comes ahead of the unveiling of the Grand Theft Auto 6, which may come as early as 2024. In a follow-up statement, Block said he's also spoken to YouTube support about the takedown. "If you have a channel that contains any footage from GTA or Red Dead Redemption 2, Manhunt, etc., you're in the hands of Take-Two IP sharks, and they can also basically take down anything they want, even the entire channel, regardless of how fun or how unique your videos are," Block claimed. Basically, Take-Two decides which videos are okay and which videos isn't. YouTube doesn't care, and IGN has Rockstar for comment, and for now, it seems like Block's statement streets mod is dead in the water. So here's a couple of reasons this happens, right? And I talk about this all the time. Coming from a film background, being in the film industry for 20 years, talking about release forums and videotaping people, I talk about this all the time about YouTube. YouTube is this weird sensation where people fight back saying, well, anyone literally playing a video game, anyone, anytime, if a company doesn't want you showing their video games, they could literally take you down, and that is the reason. You're playing a video game. We didn't ask permission, right? In the past, right? It's funny to me and I'm comparing video games as far as like YouTube content as well. You'll see all these YouTube vloggers that go out in the world, and they'll just film, right? And if you have the camera on yourself, that's fine. You're in public space. You can do that, no problem. And you can also videotape people in public if they're in public spaces. That's not a problem either. The problem is when you monetize your content. So if I'm out in public and I'm a YouTuber and I'm showing people and they're just walking in the background, if I interview someone, if I talk to somebody and I don't get their written consent that I can use their likeness on the video, they potentially can look at that video down the road and say, I didn't give you my permission, and they could sue you, right? They can absolutely sue you, and they have every right to do that. But in the film industry, anytime we were in reality, like in reality shows filming, if we were filming and the actor or content or the talent was in front of camera and we had people walking in the background, there's PAs off to the side and they're looking to see who crossed the plane to the field, because if someone's in the witness protection program, if someone doesn't want their likeness out there, if someone has their kids that doesn't want to be on the internet, these are all things that we have to, as a profession in the industry, you have to get release forms. You have to get release forms. And in the release form, it'll say like, hey, I give you my permission to use me, yada, yada, even if they pass in the background. Now, if it's in a news outlet space, you're allowed to do that. That's why you see B-roll of like people in the background, usually walking away. If you see their faces, they kind of put them out of blur, or they'll see just generic video, and sometimes they have to get the releases of those people anyway. Now we come to video game space, where the video game space, people that are just fans of games start making mods in their own time, just having fun with it and whatnot, and they want to show their work, right? Because if they're just making the mods and they really can't get it out there, just want to see people, they're not selling it in any way, shape, or form. But the company has every right to be like, hey, take that down. You're using stuff, and we don't want you to use that stuff. Okay? Same with if it's paid mods, non-mods, whatever. They can pull you down anytime. Anytime I play a video game, this is why I don't play Nintendo games usually online, because at any moment, Nintendo could just be like, hey, we don't want you to do that, and they take that down. Now, the other side of this is when people are, because he says it even in the article, he's like, I don't know what I did, right? There's millions of videos out there for Grand Theft Auto that are fine, but my video gets taken down, and they don't tell me why, right? So it's a video. He's not showing anything. He's just showing a mod that he created that's not for sale and whatnot. So it's very interesting to see. Now, the other side of the coin is everyone that feels like they own it. Like, because I'm a content creator, I can play your game, and you would be an idiot to knock me down because I'm giving you free advertisement. Sure. But at the same time, at any moment, they could take you down because that's their right as a company. Okay? So why do I think they took this down? I think they took this down just like they took down 5M years ago when the modders were putting it up, because they want control. That's money left on the table. That's something better than they're doing. So what do? They knock them down, and then years later, they purchased 5M. Just a couple weeks ago, they purchased them. I think it was last week. Okay? Now they brought that role-playing server in, and I said the exact same thing years ago when they knocked them down and said, hey, why are they knocking them down? They're not doing any harm to anybody. They're doing it because they want to do a role-playing thing. They want to have control. Hence why Grand Theft Auto 6 will have some role-playing elements built into the actual game, not depending on a third-party site. Hence why they bought 5M and RedM developers that make that modding program. Now, are they going to reach out to this guy and be like, hey, we want you to work for us? Potentially. But they could also go, hey, you see what this one guy did in his free time? What they did to Grand Theft Auto? Now they can use this technology, look farther into it, and because they own the rights to the game, and because they own the rights to that, and the AI stuff is open sourced, they can go do that stuff now, and they want to take it down because they don't want that to start getting traction, and then it looks even worse for them when they're like, oh, well, someone already did this a couple years ago. That'll still happen, but now it's taken down. So now they have free reign to work on those things in the background. That's just what I believe is happening here. Let me go to chat here and see what you guys are saying. Jesse Mack says, what is his mod that Rockstar have taken down? His mod is that he made a single player or a storyline on his own, right? Just, I worked on the game by myself. I made a mod for it. It's got a story, and he made 30 AIs that you could interact with by just talking to them. You can be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, through your microphone on your headset, and then it would take a couple of seconds, and then the AI would answer you back, and you could have a conversation with the AI, okay? Because it was just embedded into the game. So it would actually have a real conversation with them. Travis says, there's only ethic about AI that needs to be discussed. Will this lead to Skynet? The answer is yes. Oh, absolutely. Did you guys see the video I posted up there? I think it was on Friday, where all the Tesla bots are like working on themselves. I'm like, is this a good idea? Travis says, so what I'm hearing is Rockstar is a bunch of assholes. I'm shocked. But are they assholes? Are they assholes? I think the only asshole part is they didn't reach out to him personally and say, hey, can you take that down? Instead, they just gave him a copyright strike. That's the asshole move. But I'm assuming that's not Rockstar themselves. That's their legal department just taking care of it. It's part of the distribution section, if memory serves. What's part of the distribution? And are you talking about getting people's rights and signing for the release forms and whatnot? Come on, water. It's more of a personalized license than actual ownership, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah. So, again, anytime we play a video game on stream, technically that company can pull us down. But because, and here's just the way the business works. Back in the old days, before social media, before internet, you would hire somebody, right? You would hire somebody, a talent, to be a spokesperson for your product, right? You would have a specific person you would hire to do your thing, and you would pay them $30,000, $3 million, whatever it was, right? You still do that now. They still make celebrities. They still use them to sell stuff on Twitter and whatnot in social media, online for commercials. Now companies go, well, how can we get our game out there for more people? Less people are watching less commercials. How do we get it out there? And they use us. They use me. They use somebody else. They're not even paying. They're just like, hey, they're fans of the games. Let them play. Let them play the game, show the game, be honest about the game. But then it starts to get a little bit iffy because then they silence certain people because they don't like the good. They don't like the bad publicity. They just want the people talking good. Then the public starts to push back, right? Yep, going to steal his idea. Kylo says, the fact that they bought 5M worries me till the charge now for you to use 5M. But it's just a game as its features, and they'll be amazing, but it comes in a Rockstar. Yeah, they're not going to charge you to use 5M. What they're going to do is they're going to be an online format. They're already charging you. They're already charging you with the Battle Pass, Shark cards, all this stuff. They're just using them to take all of their abilities inside of 5M that made the role-playing with all the interface and the UI system behind the scenes so you can make your emotes and all that stuff. They're going to take all that and put it into, I believe, Rockstar Online to make it more like what it is 5M. So instead of going for a third party outside, you're going to be using Rockstar's system itself. Demir said, it's funny, I just started playing GTA 5 for the first time. It's a great story. It's a great story. I like the three protagonists. I think it's a great story. I like the difference between all three. Travis says, all this stems from the fact that basically used to buy games, you own it. But since players don't have any rights, no one is protected from corporations, and they do whatever they want. Well, it's not about doing whatever they want. Travis, if you made something right now, and then all of a sudden, someone runs with it and takes it from you, and you have no rights to stop them, you know what I mean? Like, if you're using someone and you're inspired by a game, you start using a mod and doing stuff, but then you start selling off of that mod, that's making money off of their project. This is why streaming is kind of weird, right? Because I'm making money talking or playing video games, right? Someone plays video games and someone's throwing money at them because they're being entertained by someone playing video games. So now I'm making money. There's people making more money than the actual people making the actual product. You see, it's a very blurred line now. So at any time, if they really want to, they could just say, hey, we don't want you to play our game. Yes, it would look bad in the public eye. And they'd be like, you'd be stupid to do that because now no one's going to buy your game. But they can. That's the point. They can. And who says both films and games, the section that mentions that you're prohibited from distributing or copy, e.g., you can buy Starfield or Avengers Endgame, but you shouldn't play it in public. Correct. You know what's a big thing that people don't really realize? So there's actual, maybe one of you guys are, maybe that's your profession, and I don't know. But people go to, you know when you walk into a mom and pop shop and you can hear music playing? And it's copyrighted music, right? Just like here. If I play copyrighted music, they can pull me down. So there's people that walk to businesses, go into businesses to see if they have a license to play that music. It's a whole industry, okay? Now, there's a big difference between if I own a Spotify account and I own a business now, and I'm playing my Spotify account where the public that walks into my shop can hear it, okay? If you do that, that's part of your business. So they're including that you're making money because people like the vibe that they come in because of the music, and they might shop and buy some clothes or whatever you're selling, baked goods, clothes, electronics. And because you're playing Taylor Swift's song, okay, I'm just using it as an example, technically you're breaking the law because you're not allowed to, I can play the song for myself. I can play the song in my house. I can play the song in my headset. But if I'm a business and I'm playing the song and I'm making money on that location, I need to pay a fee or a subscription model of some sort to pay them for a service. Not my Spotify account. Spotify is just your own personal thing, not for business. Now they have different accounts and stuff like that. That's 100% a thing. And a lot of people are like, well, that's stupid. They just walk around. They're just playing music. Yes, they're just playing music, but that's also musicians not getting paid for people listening to their songs, right? So that's the thing, right? And as someone that's not in the business looks at that and says, well, that's stupid. And someone that's in the business goes, well, that's how I make my money. Travis says, so basically it costs Cyberpunk Red World people could go. That's your peacemaker. Oh, well, it's responding in the world. Everything is property, even people. I don't understand that. Is basically what's caused Cyberpunk Red World people go on. That's your peacemaker. Oh, well, that's repositioning it. I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. I'm reading it terribly too, but I just don't understand it. Jesse Max says, who is to blame for this Take-Two or Rockstar making decisions? It's a big company. I don't know if it's like the higher-ups seeing it, or if legal saw it, or if someone else saw it and said, hey, they said something to their upper management, and the upper management say, hey, legal, take care of this. I personally think a Rockstar representative should have reached out, because I don't know the dude's YouTube channel, but if you get 3 copyright strikes on you, your channel's done. So if this is your living, you're getting copyright strike, I don't think most people would be offended if the company reached out to them and said, hey, really cool stuff making that thing, but can you please take that down because we don't like it up there? And they'd be like, cool, I appreciate you reaching out to me. I think that's the problem. I think corporate world just is like hammer down and does a copyright strike on someone, and they're like, well, what the hell did I do? Why are you picking on me? That's the way it looks like, right? It doesn't matter if he was charging it or not, Travis. It doesn't matter if he's charging or not, okay? It's potentially taking something away that he's using their game to, it could bring money in. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's not specifically charging for that. But if I do something with Rockstar, now I'm known to making a mod. Now you come to my channel and someone donates me. Hey, man, good job on making that mod. Thanks a lot. Didn't really specifically pay me for the mod, but I got known because of the mod. Does that make sense? Kylo says, I think we all want to say Take-Two is the reason why, but sadly, I think they're both evenly to blame. Yet, here's my point. Everyone nowadays thinks that you could just do whatever you want and there's no repercussions. If it's saying something stupid or taking something, or and we see that in online reasoning every single day. You turn on the TV, you turn on your channel, watching the news somewhere. People just feel like they can just do whatever they want, but that's not the case. That's called anarchy. Okay, there's rules in place for certain things, and everyone's like, oh, it's the big business. They're trying to keep the small man down, and that's not it. Honestly, all they had to do was just reach out to him and say, hey, can you take this down? And I think we'd be okay. But because we have Take-Two and back other stories of sending men in black to their houses to intimidate people, these are proven facts, that comes across as being really scummy. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. He's remarking that Cyberpunk is a reflection of the current life and our future. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, it doesn't matter if he's charging because Rockstar and these are billion-dollar companies are greedy little fucks. It doesn't matter if they're greedy. It's about the right, what they own and what you don't own. Okay? If I own something, for instance, here's another example. Someone does a piece of art, right? Someone does a piece of art and they take that art and now they just use it on something else and they don't give any credit whatsoever. Okay? It looks like something so minuscule, but you're stealing someone's art. You're stealing someone that took the time, if it was 10 minutes, if it was 10 hours, okay, that someone drew something, and you're giving no credit to that person, right? Now, there's no monetary value there whatsoever. Just someone posted a picture. They put it up there. They said, I drew this. And then someone takes that and then posts it somewhere else and doesn't give any credit to the person that they drew. They just thought it was cool art. Okay? That's the difference. But in this digital world, it's just the way it is, right? And then someone would look at that and go, well, if you stop me from using your artwork, you're just being stupid. It's like, but that's my artwork. The same exact thing. Action, reaction. Everything has consequences. Absolutely. Have you ever studied the anarchy? Actually believe in what? Because it's not pure chaos. It's natural law. I know because I am one well of Miss Cretan, but still, if you didn't have rules, people would just do whatever they wanted. Travis, the reason that civilization is better than the Wild West is because people actually own things and they have things. Right? If anyone could just, which is happening now, okay, and I don't want to get too political or anything like that, but you can see it with your own eyes. People just take shit from people because they feel like they can, and no one does anything about it. That's messed up. Okay? You have something, and someone takes it from you. You earned it by working or whatever, and you have something, and someone that doesn't have it comes up to you, punches you in the face, grabs it from you, and then says, you're a little bitch, because you're complaining that I took it from you. Take that example and now move it into in this position. Someone has something, someone uses that thing, and this person just takes it from them, okay, instead of being civil about it and said, hey, can I have that? Because you're technically stealing from us. And cool thing, maybe they offer them a job. Hey, how did you do that? Can you here's some money. Right? Instead, they just knock the dude down, right? Come on, boss. Right. I wish I could just walk into a salon and just throw somebody out the window. Right. So a good example, he says, I have a temporary license. You don't own the product. Is this, you can buy Destiny today, boot it up, skip past the TOS, and hit accept. And you have to agree, and you can't revoke it. Exactly. And then people are surprised, though, when they get, like, they could just tell you not to be, they could, I'm losing my words here. They could literally ban you from anything, right? Right? Like, for instance, in my channel, if someone comes in, right, and I don't like the way they're talking, I don't like how the way they're offending somebody in chat, or they're making a stir in my channel, I'll just ban you, right? They'll be like, you can't ban me. I can because this is my channel, okay? And I make the rules in my channel, right? And if I don't like you, you can just leave, right? Type of thing. And that's exactly the same way with video games. You're playing the game, someone reports you, and they're like, all right, he's gone. You're like, they can't do that. They can, because you hit okay on the terms of service, right? 100%. Right, including no reason. Exactly right. They can revoke your access at any time for any reason, including no reason. Boss says nobody reads the TOS. This is why they think since they ignore it and clicked accept, but they didn't read it, the rules don't apply to them. Exactly. And the best part is, boss, you can't play the game unless you, like, you can go, I'm not signing this, and then you don't own the game, which is fine, because then at that point, you could just return it because you haven't played it. Right? So you can get a refund for it. But if you agree to it, then you can't bitch about it later. You know what I mean? All right. So that's the first story. Look, I think Take-Two, this is one of the reasons I stopped playing Borderlands. Okay? There was, and I forget the person's name. He was a YouTube content creator. Dupless, I think, knows the guy's name if Dupless is here, right? There was a guy a couple years ago, I want to say back in 2018, 2019, that was talking about leaked information about Borderlands 3, I believe. Okay. Now, he covered Borderlands 1 and 2 for years. He's really known in the industry for Borderlands. And he was talking about Borderlands 3, like leaks and whatnot. And I forget if he said something that was like true or whatnot, but they didn't give him any kind of warning or anything like, hey, can you stop talking about this? Right? They literally sent guys to his house and intimidated him. And they they deleted his channel, right? They deleted his channel. And I forget the actual the channel's name, but I was just like, I wasn't going to buy Borderlands 3. I was like on the fence about it, but then I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna buy a Gearbox game this time because they literally send Men in Black to someone's house to intimidate them to not do something instead of just like picking up the phone and going, "Hey, you stop doing what you're doing." Right? I forget the guy's name, but that's what they did, and that's why I stopped buying a Gears. Now I did buy Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but this is what 4 or 5 years after. I'm signing every document to get Starfield September 1st. What's going on, Barry? Travis says, I'm done with Rockstar, but hope people enjoy their $2 billion downgrade to GTA 5. I mean, I don't even... Travis, I know you say stuff like just to put out there, but like literally, you have no evidence of anything whatsoever. We can all speculate that it's going to be less of a game or whatnot. And you might be right. You might be right. But there's no sign of anything. I mean, literally nothing. And even if you are right, the $2 billion that they spent to make the game potentially, okay, they're going to make that back day one. So you would never buy anything Rockstar, right? This is what I'm talking about. You come out and say, I'm done with Rockstar. Are you done with Rockstar or are you done with Grand Theft Auto? Because if you're done with Rockstar, you can never play anything that Rockstar makes, ever. Used, new, for free, whatever. But that's personal with you, right? That's your morals. If you say you're done and then down the road you play it, you know, it is what it is. Only person will know that you're lying is yourself. I mean, and again, you're more than welcome to say it. But to say that you're done with Rockstar. Well, that's fine. If you've never played, but that's the thing though, right? So then why even say what you just said, right? You said at this point, both, honestly, I've never played any GTAs and won't play 6. So then why even say that you're not even going to play 6 because you've never played? Wouldn't it be more simpler to say, I've never played any Grand Theft Autos? Instead of going, fuck Rockstar, I'm not playing it, I'm done with them. And it's like, well, there's two different ways. Two different ways. I agree, Barry. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 is one of the best games ever made. Yeah. 1 was better, and then when 2 came out, I was freaking blown away. $500 million versus 2. If it's a downgrade, I'll be left scratching my head wondering how. At this point, I'm done with Red Dead as well, unless they make up for the remaster bullshit. But they already made your money off of the first games. You see what I'm saying? Like, I understand if you've never played and you could just say, hey, I've never played a GTA. But the way you said the statement is you're like, I'm done with Grand Theft Auto, right? I don't understand. You've never even stepped into Grand Theft Auto. So how can you be done with something you've never even tried? What's going on, Dean? Like your statement right now in chat is like the online the online people just type stuff just because they want to hear themselves speak. Do you see what I'm saying? You literally could have said, I've never played Grand Theft Auto. And all the other stuff before that means absolutely nothing because you've never played Grand Theft Auto. Oh, for sure. It sold like 54 million copies or something like that, Jesse. Red Dead 3 is down the road sometime. For sure. Right? What is the copy? How many Red Dead copies did they sell? Let's see. That we know of anyway, right? Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold over 55 million units. Please. Please. And that is so successful, right? Like a Call of Duty selling 30 million copies is like astronomical. Mario Kart selling 55 million. We're talking upper echelon of games that sell in their lifetime. 55 million. And Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't well received. Okay. They compared to other ones are like, well, Grand Theft Auto sold 185 million copies. This one sold 55 million. They're like, wah, wah, like the public is, right? Which is just asinine because 55 million units sold is absolutely insane for a Western that people weren't interested in. Dead game. Dead game. Eight years from Grand Theft Auto 5's original release, and it's still a top seller, a number one number of times in the recent years. It averages 20 million units a year. Like, it sells more copies of a game that's almost a decade old than current titles sell today. Think about that. Right here. Hey, GTA 5 sales per year, I believe, is 18 million. It's got 145 million units. 145 million units of games sold around the world and across all platforms. 20 million were sold in 2020. 20 million alone. Now, obviously, they sold so many in the very beginning that they're averaging 20 million a year. But they probably only sold, I don't know, 10 maybe this year or whatever. Isn't it like Skyrim where it's on everything including your Atari? Well, it's funny that you say that because it's a good segue into the next story, right? The next story. So I wasn't actually, it's not part of the story. I didn't pick that story, but I want to kind of bring it up because it's kind of funny to me. Give me 1 second while I bring it up. Give me 1 second. Because I heard this the other day for the first time. I forget who said it. I forget if it was Jesse or if it was Jason. I forget who said it. But they or maybe it was Kylo. I forget. But someone said that you could play Starfield on the Xbox One, and I was just like, "What? That real?" Okay. So it turns out you can, right? So you can technically play Starfield on the Xbox One. Now, I'm intrigued by this. I don't know anything. I haven't read the article yet. I saw the title. So I'm going to read this and we're going to figure out. Everyone's complaining, right? Right? Everyone's complaining. And this is what makes me laugh. Everyone's complaining that the Series S is what's wrong with the industry. But meanwhile, people with the Xbox One can play the brand new Starfield from a system that's over 12 years old. Right? Or not, it's not 12. Well, yeah, it is 12 years, but it's like 6 or 7 years old, right? So Starfield will technically be able to be played on Xbox thanks to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Cloud Gaming feature. Now, Bethesda's massive new open-world sci-fi RPG is seamlessly too much for Xbox One to handle, which is why the game is releasing only on PC and Xbox Series X, S consoles. Now, even though the Xbox Series X and S have been available for 3 years now, it's safe to say that there are some Xbox One gamers out there that have yet to upgrade. Oh, sure. I would assume that the article right there, real quick, right? I think there was 87 million Xbox One sold. Hold on. Xbox One sold. Xbox One has sold 58 million consoles, 15.6 million users actively using Xbox app each month, 248.6 million Windows-based gaming PC worldwide. So 58 million consoles, right? And the new one's only got 21 million. So it's kind of ridiculous to say that this article says, well, there's some gamers that haven't upgraded yet. I would assume more than half. Quintar, thank you very much for the gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much for the continued support. Appreciate that very much. Right? I would assume more than half, because if you sold 58 million Xbox Ones and you only sold 21 million Xboxes, there's a lot missing that haven't bought the next Xbox and probably won't because they don't have to, right? So they don't have to. So the individuals may be disappointed that they're missing out on Starfield's big launch, but it so happens that they technically still play the game on Xbox One. The only thing is they will need to have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Now, do you see how Microsoft, what their ecosystem is? Cloud gaming. I said this on Reforge's podcast on Friday. I think in the next 6 years, cloud gaming will be much more prominent than it is today. So much so that I think it'll be almost like what we saw in 2017 to 2018, where the swap of digital for physical, right? I don't think it's ever going to go completely away, but I do believe in the next 6 years, before the next console cycle, we'll start seeing a much bigger influence in the cloud space, right? You're watching it right now, okay? Playing Starfield on your Samsung TV, right? PlayStation, playing 4K games over cloud. Seeing Starfield being able to be played on your Xbox One. Playing Microsoft Flight Sim with cloud gaming. It's a billion terabytes or something like that being streamed to your console so your console can actually play. Everyone says that we're not there yet. I understand that. And I think you guys that think that we're off by 10 years, 20 years, I think you're mistaken. And you guys might think I'm mistaken, but I think I'm going to be closer than you guys are saying 15, 20 years from now. Okay. So one of the perks that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is the ability to play games on the cloud effectively, making Xbox X Game Pass games playable on Xbox One consoles. This is certainly not the ideal way to play Starfield, as cloud gaming tech still has yet to be perfected. But those that can get Xbox Series X in time for launch, it'll also be better than nothing, of course. And reliable and fast internet connection will be necessary for anyone that plans to play Starfield on Xbox One through cloud gaming. Now, an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription will not only give Xbox One gamers the chance to play Starfield through the cloud, but also give them the access to the game in general. Starfield is launching as a day one Xbox Game Pass, meaning subscribers don't have to technically buy it for $69.99 asking price to play it on launch date. However, those that want to play it early on September 6th release date will definitely want to consider shelling out extra $34.99. Now, Starfield Early Access release date on September 1st with the game available to anyone that buys a premium edition or if they're Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Picks up the premium edition upgrade. It's unclear if Starfield Early Access will apply to those hoping to play the game through the cloud as well. Now, so Xbox One gamers could definitely keep that in mind. So, through the cloud, being at the ultimate level, you can now play. Now, I think I'm going to test this out. I want to test this out. I already have the game, right? I'm going to be getting the game for Game Pass. I have early access because I got a key, but at the same time, for September 1st, not for review code, right? And I'm going to play it on the Xbox One, okay? Off stream, but I'm going to test it out to see what it does. And maybe I'll play it on stream. Okay? once September 6th hits, maybe we'll load it up to play it through the Xbox One on the cloud to see how it runs, to see, right? To give people an actual of what it actually looks like. So let's go to the questions here, or let's go to the chat. Sorry, not questions. Let's see. I'm done with Rockstar. Already read that. Kylo says, bro, Reforge not getting a code while you did. The clip lives and rent-free in my head now. Those people, okay, the people that are running, the code is just for early access on September. It has nothing to do with the review code. I did not get a review code in any way, shape, or form. Okay? It's just for early access. So if you pre-ordered it, you get the exact same thing. So I don't understand where everyone's running with this, that he didn't get a review code. That's not what we were talking about in the context that we were talking about on the show on Friday. But each their own. Then again, I did move up to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One until they were 3 or 4 years in. Yeah, most people don't convert to the next system until about 3-4 years in, right? I didn't get my PlayStation 4. When did it come out? PlayStation 4 came out in, what, 2013? I didn't get it until 2018, I think. Chapter 8 says, I wonder if this applies to the early access. My mother wants to go to the beach September 1st to September 5th. It won't, no. You have to. Well, yeah, no. If you're an Ultimate member, Chapter 8, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member and you pre-ordered it, it should be available to you. Oh, no. You know what? It might not. It might not. Because if you pre-order it, you're getting the code in the disc and it's opening it up to you. The Game Pass Ultimate is for when it launches on September 6th, right? It's just for the Game Pass. So it might not. It might not. Yeah. Ollie Arkle said we don't know. Just says it's hitting send. Yeah. Yeah, I think the way it's gonna work, the way it sounds like it would work, it would only work for people if you pre-ordered it. You're not going to play it on Game Pass. It launches on Game Pass on September 6th. The stream ends early when Xbox One explodes. I don't think it'll explode. It's just a device streaming. You know what I mean? It's just streaming it. Crispy says there's a very vocal group of gamers that demand the highest quality experience, that believe that cloud gaming is the boogeyman. I don't get it, Chris. I mean, they can say it's not going to happen, but it's happening, right? It's happening. In the same state that people are like, oh no, records are never going to die. DVDs are always going to be here. Yeah, they are. But go to Target, go to Best Buy. Remember when the video section was like 18 lanes back and front, and now you go, it's like one little section? Remember when video games had aisles and aisles of things, and now it's just one section on each side, and most of them are blank, and all they have is the digital cards, right? People feel like a lot of things. They feel like a lot of things, but people don't understand like technology as it goes. Waterbear says, damn it, I didn't want to shell out for this game at launch, but I can't deny I'm interested. I want the best experience. I might go ahead and purchase it on PC. This is we're gonna talk an article. Paul Tassi wrote an article for Forbes talking about, is Starfield gonna sell, right? And I think a lot of people, I think the minority, right? And this is a weird statement, the minority of the majority, okay, the people that like Starfield or like Bethesda games, I think they're gonna sell that 3 to 5 million copies, and I think that's about we're all gonna get for people purchasing it. It's that fear of missing out, hence why they put it like 5 days early, because they want to get it, they want to be hyped about it, and I think a lot of people are going to buy it, play it for a little bit, and be overwhelmed, and they're going to put it down. I do. I think everybody else, obviously, is going to get it on Game Pass. The increased access to cloud gaming, cloud, bring a massive wave of new consumers. Yeah, and the more people play the cloud, the more they force you to play the cloud, the better the technology gets over time, faster, right? Dimani says, feel like the difference in people's timing, opinion, and streaming games are different. Understanding about the it can happen, and then when the mainstream, completely two different things. Right. I'm saying that cloud gaming will be more mainstream in 6 years than other people saying 15 to 20. Right? I'm saying it's going to be more mainstream. I mean, look already. Look already. Okay? We already had, right? Cloud gaming has been around for, I've been playing on xCloud, Project xCloud, for 4 years now. I was in early access playing it. You had OnLive, which I think Sony owns now, if I'm not correct, which was streaming as well. There's already companies that you can stream using their, I forget what the company's called. You could pay like $34 a month and stream from their servers and play on your PC. So if you have a crappy PC, you can play off a high-end PC and stream it to your computer. You have Amazon Luna, right? That's cloud gaming. You had Stadia, which was cloud gaming, right? These are all things that were happening and realistic, and people are like, no, it's not going to happen. It's so far off. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are looking at, right? I don't know what you guys are looking at. We've heard Phil Spencer talk about that the small little Keystone box, they can't get the price down, but once they do, that's going to come out, right? You stream Netflix, you stream to your Chromecast or whatever the hell it's called, okay? Your Chrome Stick, right? The Fire Stick. These are all things that are streaming from movies, 4K, 2K, right? And movies are different than video games, sure. But these are things that said, oh, no one's ever going to stream, right? Netflix built their whole business model by sending discs out. But there's still people getting discs, not anymore because they're canceling them now. But up until that point, it was like 90% people all streaming digital stuff. Kylo says, I pre-ordered the bundle at Best Buy to play early and get some of the patches and stuff. Can't wait for September 1st. Yeah, I'm excited to play. What's going on, Kuda Papa? Current larger industry predictions show that speeds of latency being good for streaming games in about 10 years with 5G infrastructure. It will basically be done by then. Plus, we're looking at 6G. Always looking at more Gs. Chapter 8 says, yeah, I pre-ordered it on PC, but I might have to get the Xbox just so I can tour an Xbox down to Florida and play on September 1st. Then use cross-save to get back to PC. See the mentality, though? You're a gamer, right? You're like, I want to play it, and nothing's going to stop me from playing, so I'm going to buy it, and then I'll play it again later, right? They know that. They know what they're doing. The industry knows what they're doing. They know their clientele, right? What's going on, Stealth? All right, Stealth, have a good day. Cloud gaming isn't the boogeyman. Wait, why is it wearing Freddy Claus? He says, cheaper and more efficiency for Sony Plus, Microsoft and development streaming engineering, then continuously losing money on consoles. This is why they make actually money off of the Xbox Series S, and they lose money on the Series X. Same with PlayStation. This is why they're trying to get rid of the disk drive inside, because not only are they making more money per sale of video game now, okay, because now there's no store that you're sending it to. There's no product that you're sending it to. Their sales are so low on the physical product. They're making an additional 30% off of each game that they never made before. And they raised it $10. So they raised it $10. They're making an additional 30% on top of their game sale. And now there's no shipping. They don't have to put it on a truck. They're not driving it across. There's no shelf space. They don't have to do any of that, right? People are quick to note that time keeps marching on until it comes across something like and then they think it's been around forever. There's people right now that think the internet's been around forever, right? Only the people that are around my age were in the know, or my age and above, obviously, right? Know that the internet came. Remember Netscape, AOL, and all that stuff. Right? We had dial-up. We saw it happen. And how fast did it happen? It happened fast. It happened fast. Now you look at stuff on the internet much, much faster than when it happened back then. Travis says, "Oh, it won't even sell 2 million. Everyone will get it on Game Pass. Well, everyone who's smart. No, I think it will sell 3 to 5 million, but I think that's where it ends. But I also don't think they're not going to measure this game, Microsoft. They're not going to measure this game about sales, right? They're going to measure this game about interaction and how many people are playing it and how many people get Game Pass. And we'll go on to that story in just a couple of minutes. It'll sell due to mods? Perhaps. House is about to sue Walmart now for long-term neck pain. Travis says, question, but do you think will be people who demand their money back on Starfield, whether they can get it, who knows, but will people demand it? Get their money back for what? Why would they want their money back if they pre-ordered it? I mean, it's actually literally the first game that you don't actually have to buy coming out. But it is hard to get a refund for stuff. It all depends on how long they play it, I guess, right? Netscape. There's a name. I knew your father. I fought with Netscape in the Clone Wars. The screeching and the beeping. I still have nightmares. Oh, man. I tell this story all the time. We would be playing SOCOM, and then all of a sudden my mom would bang on the wall. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Because she had to use the phone, or she would just pick it up. Sometimes she would forget, and she would just disconnect us. And we were like, ah! Right? We were so upset because she had to use the phone. Because we know that Starfield have full mod support, but it's obvious PC will likely have a day one rather than we have it first. But do you think console will have full mod support on the same time? Well, I'm going to say no, because the mod support that you'll get on day one in PCs, there's already a modder that has a review copy or something. So I'm assuming he's not even playing the game. I think he's just in the code and he's messing with stuff. So they might have mods day one for PC. With the console, they're much more in control, right? So I don't know how they're doing the monetization for Starfield. I'm sure this is another critic point that people will start talking about once the game launches. There's going to be some sort of store, right? There is in Skyrim, there is in Fallout, there is in Fallout 76. There's going to be some sort of store where you're buying mods, right? So we'll see what happens when. I guess we'll cross that bridge when it gets here. SOCOM is what created my toxic side. I don't know if that's what created your toxic side. I think it's the people that were playing it created your toxic side while you played SOCOM. I grew up in a super rural area, and my area was still on dial-up, and the rest of my country had broadband. I went to college with people who didn't know what dial-up sounded meant. Yeah. I remember when I went to college, Chapter 8, and we had T1, right? T1 internet. And I remember that was the time frame when Napster was around, LimeWire, what was the other one? There was one more, right? I downloaded, so I came to college early in the summer, and the school wasn't, like, nobody was on campus yet. So I basically had T1 to myself, okay? And I downloaded the internet. Like, there was so many movies that I had, and and this is before I got in the movie industry, right? This is before I was right? So I don't do that stuff anymore, but I would download so many movies and music and stuff, so much so that they banned me off of the T1 service. Right? I was like, how do they do this? What is this magic? Right? I was flying. I could download an entire movie in like 4 minutes. Pirate Bay, thank you very much. Yeah. So many things. That sounds like an eternity ago. All right, so let's go to the next story, right? Let's run to the next story. Next one is from Paul Tassi. Hold on, I'm trying to get the... And all the stories that we're doing are in the description down below. All the links are there, so if you want to go read them yourself, go click over there. They get paid by clicks and whatnot as well. We are covering it here and giving you my opinion on them. I hate to be that guy, but yeah, that's like 2 decades ago. Yeah. But the internet in the last 5 years has exponentially... What we did in the first 15 years, we surpassed in like 6 months now. You know what I mean? From like 96, 97. Well, first of all, the internet's been around since the 70s, right? But it wasn't made public to anybody, right? So from like the late 70s to like 97, okay, was like 20 years. And then from 96, 97 to like, I don't know, 2005, and then to like 2010, right? Which was much more, much more happened in that 10-year span than happened in the 20 years before. Right? And then what's happening in the last 5 years is, I mean, it just changes so much, so fast. I mean, we literally have robots building robots now. That's like sci-fi. That's sci-fi crap. Right? I posted robots building robots. Right? That was in movies, and now it's in reality. All right. Speaking of Starfield, how will Microsoft measure Starfield's success in the Xbox Game Pass era? Now, I haven't read this article yet, but I've been telling you guys all the time, like, it's not about the sales. It's not about the sales. It's about how many people are going to sign up or purchase the Ultimate or purchase the Standard or purchase an Xbox or whatever it is. How are they going to measure the success of Starfield? Okay. This is Paul Tassi's opinion piece. Okay. There's a little question that Starfield will be the most important game ever to launch on Xbox Game Pass. More than ever, Forza, Halo Infinite, anything else that's come before it. But it raises interesting question. How will the success of the game be measured using non-traditional metrics? There's usually, we see big 800 million opening weekend type headlines for huge releases. Games in Fallout and Elder Scrolls series have tens of millions of lifetime copies. But because of Game Pass, it will not hit those high watermarks, though Microsoft probably won't mind. Okay, the way I see it, there'll be a few different paths that will end up to significant revenue. Okay, it won't get one of those big opening day weekend numbers, week or week numbers. The way we used to, of course, and this is missing PlayStation entirely, a first for mainline Bethesda RPG releases, but the measurement. Okay, it says increased Game Pass subscription. This is what Microsoft wants to see more than absolute anything else, and I agree 100%. I've been saying this for 5 years. Okay, while no Starfield will not sell nearly as many as $70 standalone copies as it would normally, if Microsoft can get a new Game Pass sign-up and get them to stick, that's $17 a month indefinitely, and they can make up to 70 price tag point in just 4 months. Well, they can actually make it faster than that, right? They can make it faster than that, because when people come in and pay a subscription model, and they pay the $17 or whatever it is, if there's microtransactions, not even in Starfield, but microtransactions somewhere else, if you come to sign up for Game Pass for Starfield because you want to try it out, and then all of a sudden you're like, Starfield's not really for me, but now it got you hooked inside the Game Pass world where you can start playing Forza and then pay a season pass, or get a Sea of Thieves and then pay for a Plunder's Pass, or you get something of some sort of, they're going to make money off of you off of that. Now, obviously, a lot of people don't pay microtransactions, but majority, okay, of people spend $1 here, $2 there, and they're making extra money. So I'm going to say it's the $17 a month They'll make it faster than 4 months back if they sign up to Game Pass. Okay. They make up the 7 price to $200 a year. If they really stay long term, it's $200 a year. Though it remains to be seen if the ceiling is on Game Pass, where you own the Xbox or don't have it by now, you're ever going to be to convert towards it. Right? Again, Xbox doesn't care about selling Xboxes; they're selling Game Pass. Right? So, are you going to be a convert, or Microsoft is hoping Starfield will move that needle? Okay. So, premium edition upgrades. We are living in the pay more and get early access era, where if you're aware of diehard fans and want to play Starfield a week early, starting on September 1st, you will have to pay for a digital premium edition a $30 upcharge. So if you paid for $60, you are now going to pay $90 or $100 to get it 5 days early, right? Think about that for a second, okay? Now, it does include a couple of pieces of in-game gear, but more importantly, the future store expansion will otherwise be sold separately. So if Microsoft sells loads of these editions, each one is above and beyond the free Game Pass version of the game, and that could be add up quickly. Sure, right? 100%. Okay. Steam. Bethesda games will also have a way of being massive on Steam, and clarify it's unlikely to be an exception. The modding community kept games like Skyrim alive for years, and it would also be reasonable to expect the big Starfield sales on platform for those who can run in PC and want its own outside of Game Pass ecosystem. So many more full sales here. Okay. Despite all this, it's hard for me to think that it was just a traditional Bethesda release, $70 on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's probably would end up making far more money that way. But when you are brought up to $7.5 billion and probably enough to let your other new overlords release your game however they want, and Microsoft is hoping it will be on Game Pass driver for so that anything that comes before, we'll see. So the driving factor is they won't know if this brings in enough for months, because I think the initial sales they'll show you in the end of the quarter, they'll show you that there's a big kick in like people getting Game Pass, trying it out, playing Starfield. They'll show you the sales, 3 million, 5 million. They'll show you the concurrent player base on Steam. They'll use any tactic possible to make the number, right? Because obviously we live in a world where if a game has, let's say, only 1 million people play it, they'll come out with numbers of there's been 100 million kills, there's been 1,000 planets explored, 1.2 billion planets, whatever it is, right? Because those numbers, like, wow, that's a lot, right? So they'll always use a numbered. It's the best-selling game on a Tuesday in a weekend in a year beginning with with T, whatever it is, right? They'll always use something in that to trick you, to make you feel like it's doing better than what it is. Okay. Like, for instance, movie tickets do this all the time. Best-selling movie of the weekend. Well, no movies came out this weekend, so if a movie did number 1 at the box office and nothing else was competing against it, then yeah, obviously, congratulations, right? They try to do this. Remember, Shang-Chi was awesome at 74 million opening weekend, and now Blue Beetle comes out, it makes 25 or 27 million. You're like, that's a huge weekend. It's like, is it? Is it? So they're always going to use the numbers to try to confuse you or make you feel like it's bigger. I do believe that it's going to have a current player base. I asked Lono on Friday if he thinks it's going to be over 500,000, because the best Bethesda game concurrent player base was Fallout 4. It was like at 450. I think it was just shy of like 500,000. I think it's going to break the 500,000. I think it's going to be the number 1 Bethesda game on Steam ever. Okay. That's one record it'll have. I also think it'll sell 3 million copies easily because of people fear of missing out and buying it early. Okay. Because they get that 5-day early access. Everyone's going to be talking about it. People are going to buy it. People are going to buy it and not even play it for extra 5 days because they won't have time to play it. Okay. And then when there's the actual launch, that's when Game Pass kicks in. When Game Pass kicks in, you're going to see those numbers. You're going to see the numbers of how many people, killed this person or explored, or how many ships were created, or how many miles were explored, or how many planets were explored, or how many bases were built. That type of stuff as they go about. All right, let me go to chat and see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Kyle says, I finally went this weekend to download the Dolphin emulator on PC. I honestly might make me just sell my physical GameCube games. Oh, so you can play all those games now, huh? Come on, Sarge. Yeah, they will measure engagement for sure. Travis says, I wonder if there will be that guy who doesn't go to work for 3 days and then sus Bethesda. Yeah, no, obviously there's people taking off. Chris B says 100% they're trying to boost subscriber numbers, and the game will definitely help draw more people to the platform, but they're also going to have success upselling current subs with a $30 early access. Well, the problem, yeah, they already have the people that have Ultimate already have Ultimate, right? Now it's like, well, I already have Ultimate, so I already get it. Should I buy Starfield? And I think you're right, Chris. I think that's going to be a hard sale for someone that already has it, because if they're a fan of Bethesda and they're a fan of Starfield and they've been waiting this long, even though they already have Ultimate Game Pass, they're probably going to purchase it, right? But what's that percentage? What is that percentage of the player base that's going to strive to go, you know what? I can't wait 5 days. I'm jonesing to get into that game. How many people, is that the minority or is that the majority? And I think it's the minority, right? I think the Starfield fan, Bethesda fan base is big, but I think it's like Final Fantasy 16 big, right? I think it's like 3 million sales, 5 million sales, which is not me going, oh, it's only 3 million, 5 million. I mean, it's not going to sell 12 million copies. And I would be more than happy to say, holy Christ. Because in this world, if 12 million people buy Starfield, okay, let's just say, in like the first month or whatever, then how many people are actually going to try it on Game Pass? Or did most people buy it and didn't get Game Pass? Or they have Game Pass and they bought it anyway? I don't know, right? And then I would love a breakdown of the people that did buy it. What's the age group, right? What's the age group? Are they people of my age where they want that physical copy? They want to still support the game company? Or is it the younger crew that doesn't want to own anything, right? That'll be interesting to know. Kylo says, I bet week one of these games releases, we'll see Xbox post most played game on Game Pass of all time. Oh, for sure. For sure, Kylo. For sure. Good Papa says, keep the physicals for those who are legal keys, and N came after you. And the physical copies keep the emulator legal. Oh, right. He's saying keep the physical. So if they come after you, you still have it. Yeah. Embu says, on the topic of Game Pass, and the following is just me and speculation, Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox finally. And I'm expecting that to pay the regular sub to play it. But what if its sub is free on Game Pass? I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Anubu. I said that I think they're going to drop the monthly payment for Final Fantasy 14. It will just be part of Game Pass. Just like Elder Scrolls does it, just like any other MMO does it that way now. They won't charge, right? You can get extra storage or whatnot in Elder Scrolls Online, but you don't need to buy to pay it. The base game is free, right? You can play to levels 1 through 60, I believe. You can play through the whole story campaign, but you'll run out of space and whatnot. You have less room in your bags and whatnot. So you get the $15 a month, right? I think that's the same way they're going to do with Final Fantasy 14. Boss says, I feel sorry for Jaggy. Thus bought a series, whatever, for Game Pass when the game he wanted is on Xbox One game. Well, one, he has to be a Game Pass member. I don't know if he has Game Pass, boss. And I don't want to talk about Jaggy because he's not here to defend himself in any way, shape, or form. And he can buy what he wants, right? I don't think he has to defend himself that he bought the Xbox. He said he had a laptop that didn't really wasn't powerful enough to run it. So he got the console. So I don't know if he's also getting Game Pass with that or if he's buying it straight up. Not sure. Brain says it won't be included in Game Pass. It'll be the up to level 60 free version with a subscription available. So, Brain, you think that Final Fantasy is going to come on? Isn't it free anyway to level 60? And then if you want to go past that, it'll charge the subscription. Is that what you're saying? Oh, free version with the subscription model available. Yeah. So you're agreeing with me. Let's see. I read that one. What's going on, Alien? I find the conversation about Game Pass and player involvement metric very interesting. The industry will definitely have to adjust. Absolutely, Alien. I think in the overall scheme, like people are always like, we're so conditioned to the old method, right? We're conditioned with old method where if it comes out in theaters, right, it needs to be in the box office, and that's how you measure if a movie's good or bad. How much money it made the first weekend, right? If a game comes out, we look at it, how many games it sold the first weekend or first week or whatever it is, or the first month. Now with the streaming service, right? It doesn't tell you how many albums are sold anymore, right? It tells you how many plays are in music, right? How many people are playing it. It's 100 million plays, whatever it is, because they're not selling that type of stuff. Movies, how many times it's downloaded, how many hours watched for streaming shows. So now here we are in the video game aspect of it. How many hours played, right? How many hours played? How many things explored? How many achievements achieved? Right? That is the metric that they're going to show the public. Now, behind the scenes for Game Pass, I think that they need to know what the conversion ratio is, right? Okay, we have 25 million. That's the number we know. 25 million people playing Game Pass right now. Now they know a metric. Okay, if it goes from 25 to 35 million, let's say, that's 10 million people. What game came out? So you can take that number and go, okay, we gained 10 million subscribers because of Starfield came out. Okay. Then they have to look at that and go, okay, we got additional 10 million people that came on Game Pass because of Starfield. I'm just making up numbers here just to kind of an example. Then they have to look at the 25 million people. How many people are also playing it on Game Pass? Then they also have to look at it. How many people that know that have Game Pass, how many people purchase the game completely separate? Okay. Then months down the line, they have to look at it and go, okay, how many people that came into the fold during Starfield's launch month retained and kept that number for the next month? And how do we keep them for the next month? And how do we keep them for the next month, right? That is the thing. Now, I don't know how they're going to do it for Starfield. I can't remember if they're going to have DLC. I can't remember if they're going to have some sort of, I don't think there's going to be a live service aspect of it, but who knows, right? They got to make you keep coming back, right? They got to keep making you come back for something. So I'm not sure what that is for that particular game, or they just keep bringing out third-party games. There's another game, like, let's move on over, right? Let's move on to the next type of story in just a second. We're going to talk about Chainsaw Massacre, right? What it did this weekend. But that's the ratio they're going to do. So it's not going to be so like straight up front. 10 million people played the Starfield. They're going to be like, yeah, let's boost it up. Let's tell people that we sold 5 million copies. Everyone's going to be like, you only sold 5 million copies. And then they say they had 30 million people play it on Game Pass. And then they're going to measure that over time, right? How many people keep with it? Chapter 8 says it was a great strategy to start early access Friday before Labor Day. Folks who work for school or want early access because they want to release, they're waiting extra days for the next weekend. Right. Oh, it's definitely not by accident, you know, Chapter 8? If it's free up to a point, but if it's mentioned it'll come to Game Pass, then it will likely mean that the subscription will be free. Otherwise, there'll be no point of being on Game Pass as already a free section. Sure. But I'm assuming they would give some benefits for being on Game Pass, if that makes sense. Right? I'm sure Todd Howard alluded to future DLC for Starfield, but then again, it's Todd Howard. Right? They could charge DLCs. They could do free updates. Maybe. How about this? How about this? It's a free update like No Man's Sky. Right? Now, hear me out. This is why I think maybe they could do something like this, right? No Man's Sky, as much as people talk about how all these great additions that they're doing, they're coming out with another one, Echo. Okay, it's on Game Pass, and they never charge for any of their updates. You could get it on sale every once in a while, but people are buying that game. So right now, if no one ever bought No Man's Sky and they see Echo, that might be their first buy. Okay, we had a conversation about No Man's Sky. They made so much money off the original launch that they can go 16 years. They're at 7 right now. They can go another 9 years without charging for DLC based on how much money they made. Now, obviously, they're making more money because other people are buying the game. But what if Starfield does the exact same type of thing where DLC is just free? Because they want people to come on to Game Pass. And if you're on Game Pass, they just keep that recurring $17 type of thing. Where if you bought the game, it's free update, and you just keep buying. They don't make any money from you, but there's going to be some sort of microtransaction store as far as suits or skins for the mod store and stuff like that, and that's where they'll make money recurring there as well. Brain says they're not going to make make an entirely new system for Final Fantasy 14. They already have a free version for subscription, and that's exactly what they'll port over. There you go. I can see in the future, and I'm not saying just for Final Fantasy 14, I can see Microsoft and PlayStation with the higher tier of their PlayStation Plus and Game Pass Ultimate that they give other benefits, right? If it's get our game early access, if it's get extra skins, or I don't know, just little things that they give you, sort of like pre-order bonuses type stuff. Even if it's for 5 extra spaces in your bag, whatever, you get a free mount, you get something, right? Now they could also do the model where Minecraft does it, like Minecraft Legends, and I'm talking about Starfield now, where Minecraft Legends comes out and you can get Minecraft Dungeons, right? Minecraft Dungeons, where the base game is free, and you can play the base game not free. It's part of Game Pass, right? So you get it for Game Pass, and you play it, and you're not buying the actual game. But then if you want to play the DLCs, you have to purchase it. If you want those maps, then you have to pay the $5. $5 here, $5 there. So I've supported Minecraft Dungeons. I've bought every single microtransaction as far as maps, like access, not skins or anything like that, right? So the DLC that's come out for each of those microtransactions, because that's what they are. DLC is microtransaction. I bought the game outright, and then I bought 4 or 5 DLCs, so they made an additional $25, $30 out of me. I forget how much they were. And I think they gave a discount. They gave a discount if you're a Game Pass member. They give you like a 5% discount or 10% discount on that as well, right? So because I'm a Game Pass member, they gave me a discount on Minecraft Dungeons DLC. So I would assume they would do something that's sort of similar to like Final Fantasy, where if you're a Game Pass member, yes, it's free, but you get 10% off on the sales or whatever to incentivize you buying extra stuff. If you guys are liking the content that we have here, please make sure you hit that like button down below. We do this Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning. We go over the news, and we have some conversation with chat. Appreciate you guys, everyone being here. So let's talk about from Game Pass to the next Game Pass thing, right? So this is pretty big, right? So everyone hypes the number up that the current player base for Baldur's Gate 3, which is a huge success. Even Larian Studios thought it was only going to be 100,000 concurrent players, and they had 800,000 concurrent players. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre crossed 1 million players in the first 24 hours. Okay, and in this article, it says Guns Interactive multiplayer horror Texas Chainsaw Massacre is out now and notched up some impressive numbers on the game's official Twitter. Right? It confirmed over 1 million players in the first 24 hours of release, as for which one survived in the story for another time. Now, the sales weren't revealed, but since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is available on Game Pass, the service undoubtedly contribute to the players' count. Now, that's the interesting thing, right? On social media, they tell you 1 million people. So automatically you think, wow, 1 million people bought that game, right? And 100% 1 million people could have bought that game. What's going on, Lurker? right? 1 million people could have bought that game in 24 hours. Okay. And that's huge. Okay. But the numbers, do you see the difference of what Game Pass? Now, we don't know the numbers, but do you see the difference of the interaction that Chainsaw Massacre is getting because it's on Game Pass, right? Even with the minuscule numbers being third place in console sales, and they only have like 22 million player base out there that has the new systems, and there's 25 million people that have Game Pass, right? And there's 15 million people that have it on PC. So, like, this is what they're trying to do, right? They don't need, right? Microsoft doesn't need 10 million people to buy that game, but they have big numbers of people playing the game, right? So Texas Chainsaw Massacre available on Game Pass. The service undoubtedly contributes to the player count. This is fine because Gun Interactive CEO President Wes Keltner felt the launching on the service and having a many potential players for quicker matchmaking was paramount. Okay, and I've said this in the past. I said these games live or die on the popularity of it, right? Putting that $60 price tag, putting that $70 price tag for these types of games is a barrier, right? He says, quote, partnering with Microsoft is allowing this game to be available to the millions on the Game Pass was a no-brainer decision for us. Along with Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and the title also available on PlayStation 4, 5, and PC. Now, based on the classic film series, Texas Chainsaw Massacre sees a team of 4 victims trying to escape while dealing with the murderous family, and the latter includes the likelies of Leatherface and Chief, Chef, characters leading to the hunting experience. Check out the full review. Now, over 1 million of you went to Texas Chainsaw Massacre over 24 hours. Now, see, that's the numbers you're going to see for Starfield. This many people played. How many people explored? That is the metric. Okay, that's the metric now. How many people played? That's very impressive. 1 million people played Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, if the game was selling for full price and it wasn't on Game Pass, do we think that would hit? Do we think that would have hit 1 million player base? Probably not, right? Let's see. Massacre Steam charts. Let's see what it is right now. So there you go. Just to look at the Steam charts, it's got 17,198 all-time peak. Now, think about that number for a second. Obviously, that's not the people that were playing it or bought it, but that's 17,000 people playing. So how many people played it on Game Pass? Do you see the difference? Right? Obviously, we don't know the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 numbers, but I'm pretty sure that more people played it on Game Pass on PC and on Xbox than they bought it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and on Steam. Because this is the new thing. Right? So when I say that Starfield's gonna, people are more gonna play it. So if it comes out that 5 million, 10 million people bought Starfield, do you know how many more people are gonna be playing it or trying it on Game Pass across all sectors? Jesse Max says, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm very enjoying the experience. It's very crazy fun playing with the chaos, and everything is great on the PlayStation 5 performance with 60 frames per second. They did very excellent job with the Chainsaw Massacre game. That's good to hear. Good to hear. I hear there's a bunch of lag going on, and I don't know what version it was. Lurker says, the games like this, I want to know how many are playing in month 2. That's how you know it will continue. But that's the thing, Lurker. Think about if someone came into Game Pass, they were waiting for this game, whatever that number is. They came to play Chainsaw Massacre, but they stayed to play other things. Right? Do you see the difference? So let's say someone, remember, half the people that bought the Xbox Series S have never owned an Xbox before. Okay? So the Series S is double the amount of Xbox X's out there. And then half of those are first-time people coming to Xbox. So they probably haven't played a lot of games in their lifetime. Okay? Brand new people coming in, and all of a sudden they might have that one game. Maybe they came in for Forza, and now they stayed for Starfield, or maybe they come in for Chainsaw Massacre, okay, and then they stayed for something else. I try to put yourself in a position of, like, I don't know, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old that's not jaded like us, where they try a game on the system and they're like, oh, I'll play that, right? My son just started playing Valheim, right? He asked, can I play Valheim? I'm like, yeah, sure, because I know he's going to get in and build a house and play whatever, right? He's not going to finish the game. He's not going to fight the bosses. He's literally just playing the game and playing in that first area and just having fun building stuff, right? Then he might move over to another game. Then he might move over to another game, right? That is what they're trying to capture, right? That's why the stats of 40% more people tried new games. 70% of the people buy something, right? That's what they're trying to do. So come in for Chainsaw, stay for Starfield. Come in for Starfield, stay for Forza. It's not about the one game. It's about the interactive and how they can keep them on Game Pass. I played Octopath Traveler on Game Pass, loved it. It left Game Pass eventually, and I bought it. That's another outlet right there, right? A lot of people buy a game after they played it because it leaves off, and then you want it. You're like, oh, it's off there. Oh, I'll buy it, and they give you a discount. They give you a discount because you're a Game Pass member, right? Everyone's in this mentality of Pepsi Coke, right? Like, which one's better, PlayStation or Xbox? And both of them are in the same world, okay? They're trying to make more money in different areas. They're trying to spread them out where technology is moving so fast, and people are buying less consoles. I know it goes against what people are saying. Well, PlayStation sold 40 million consoles. That's great. That's great. I'm not taking that away from them in any way, shape, or form. But less people are buying consoles over the years. Right? If we go to console sales, you added like Nintendo, you add PlayStation, you add Xbox, less people are interested in buying consoles. And the companies want you to not buy the consoles. They just want to sell the actual systems. And if they can sell the systems, or I'm sorry, the games, not the systems, they want you to buy the software. If they can stream it, right? If they can stream it to you and you don't have to buy a system, that's less money out of their pocket because they don't lose money off of that device, right? If they can keep their costs down, they can make money. Nintendo makes money off of the Switches, and they make money off of their software. Lorco says, I get Microsoft wants them to come in and stay. They just hard on the studios for your game is treated like chum for the whale. I have 700 plus games in my PlayStation library, 400 plus were PlayStation Plus, and I get it, but devs, I get it. But that's the complete other opposite side though, Lurker. From the consumer standpoint, right? People see stuff and go, that's a cool game. They buy it right away and it goes into their they fantasize that we're going to buy it and play it now. But then it sits there for so long and then no one ever plays it. And then it's a backlog type of game, right? Where the devs, they look at it and go, well, if they're on PlayStation Plus, if they're on Game Pass, they're getting money up front to be on that service. So they're subsidizing their money where they made the money either before it went on that service, they made the money by putting it on that service, or they're going to make their money after it's on that service. It's going to be hard. And we read articles of people saying it's super hard to compete in this landscape after year 3. When the thing first comes out, it's going to be super easy because, Tunic comes out. It's not competing against a lot of things. But now you're year 5. You come out with a game and there's thousands of games on there. Look at Steam. You could go to Steam and just thousands of games. And if you like indie devs, you go to the indie game develop. How many of you are annoyed when you go to like Netflix or Disney Plus or Peacock? You're like, I want to watch something, right? You start scrolling down the thing, they don't have it. You don't know what to watch. So you go to the top 10. You go to what's being trending, right? And that's how it works. Exactly what they do for Game Pass. Hence why I said it's bad for the industry. Hence why I say it's bad for the business, right? Great for gamers because there's so much stuff there for you for the low price. But it's bad for the industry because people are just pumping their stuff out there and they don't know if it's going to be seen, right? They don't know if it's going to be seen. Chris B says it's a symbiotic relationship for studios and Xbox for iffy game like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or games declining in active players. Putting the game on Game Pass keeps the active player count up and props the game sales. Look, you know what game got saved by Game Pass? I know a lot of people bought it, but you know what saved? You know what game saved by Game Pass? What game was saved by Game Pass? I'll give a couple, right? We played it on channel here, right? What game was saved? What game was saved by Game Pass? What gave it more viewership? What brought it back into reality as they were fixing it? Hi-Fi Rush? No. No, Hi-Fi Rush launched on Game Pass, and it also... Demir says Fallout 76. Fallout 76, well, sort of. I was talking more recent. I'm talking more recent, right? Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042. Right? People shit on that game from the start. Well deserved, by the way. Well deserved, right? For 12 months, it sat, and people are like, I'm not playing that. All of a sudden, it came onto Game Pass, and everyone started giving it a shot. Okay? Started giving it a shot. Then they started playing it, and they fixed it more, right? It's been on there since, what, November, December of last year? And then all of a sudden, now it's in a better spot, right? But what happened with the player base is the player base filled in because not many people, right? Right. They'll turn it around eventually, right? That's it. How many kids, Jesse says, how many kids want to try Chainsaw Massacre the game and their parents come in and see what their kids are playing on Game Pass and just hope to get age restriction? My son's not allowed to, and this goes to a whole different conversation, Jesse, but my son, when he goes into Game Pass, if he clicks a game that's above his age limit, it asks me, do you want him allowed to play it always or just this once? And obviously, if I'm okay with the game, I'll let him have it always. But if I'm not okay with the game, I'll let it do it once, and I also sit there while he plays it. Okay? But that's being a parent, right? So if people are just opening up the thing because they're annoyed because they don't want to be asked and stuff, that's a whole different conversation. Right, it went on PlayStation Plus the same month. Correct. Right? Streaming services save that game because the player base, if you don't have people playing the game, then it's dead because you join a server and all of a sudden you're like, no one's playing, and you're out within seconds, right? Hence why I said games like Friday the 13th, games like Chainsaw Massacre, games like that, they thrive on a streaming service. They make their sales. Make your sales. I don't like day and date. I'll be honest with you. I think Chainsaw Massacre should have went out there first, made the sales, and then put it on the streaming service for people that have the streaming service type of stuff, right? What's your top 5 Game of the Year contenders from release so far? Games that I've played or games that are in like the running? Barry, there's a difference, right? Because games I played, some of them won't get nominated. And then some other games that I haven't played are going to get in those spots, right? So right now, in my head, just off the top of my head, I think Hogwarts Legacy should 100% be there. Okay? 100% be there. 2, it'll be Final Fantasy. Well, actually, let me hold back on that. me hold back on that. Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate 3, Zelda is definite 3. Spider-Man's probably going to be 4. Starfield will probably be 5. And then it's going to be a scuffle, right? It could go to Final Fantasy 16. They could put an independent game in there, like a Hi-Fi Rush type of stuff. Games I played Hi-Fi Rush. I played Hogwarts. I played Diablo. I played Star Wars Survivor. I played Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to be playing Starfield. I unfortunately won't be playing Spider-Man because I don't own a PlayStation. We have a poll. If you guys want to go to the poll in our Discord, it's open up to the general public. So if you're not a part of our members of our stream, you can still go there and vote. And right now in our poll, the leaders right now for the nominations, this is just the top 6. You get 6 votes. You vote on 6. And the nominations are Hogwarts is going to make it, is what our community says. Second place at the second highest one right now is Resident Evil. Oh, I'm sorry, Legend of Zelda, not Resident Evil. My bad. Legend of Zelda. Third place is Spider-Man 2. Fourth place is Baldur's Gate 3. Fifth place is Final Fantasy 16. And sixth place is Diablo 4, which is surprising. Oh, wait, do we have M? Legend of Zelda, M. Oh, Starfield. Sorry, Starfield and Legend of Zelda. I missed one. Diablo's not in it. Diablo's the last one. It's not in it. We have Hogwarts. We have Starfield. We have Legend of Zelda. We have Spider-Man. We got Baldur's Gate 3. And we have Final Fantasy 16. So, all right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Game of the year so far, if remakes count. To me, remakes don't count. To me, personally. I have them in the running. We had Resident Evil remake and we had Dead Space remake, but for me, they don't count. But yours is Zelda. Let's see, Zelda. Okay. Resident Evil. We got Final Fantasy. We got Hogwarts. We got Hi-Fi Rush. Hoping Starfield or Spider-Man compete for number 1. See, I don't know. I would like to see like a Hi-Fi Rush. In our poll, we have Hi-Fi Rush and we also have Dredge, which is a independent game. I could see games like that maybe being in the running. Appreciate those. I love when they say D4 is for gamer dads and casual ARPG Andes. Resident Evil 4 has a chance. I don't know, Jason. In a world, and it does have a chance. It's in the running in our poll. But in a world where you have games that are brand new, like Armored Core 6, you got Super Mario Brothers Wonder, you got Mortal Kombat 1, you got Street Fighter 6. I don't know if a remake takes it over one of those brand new IPs, or brand new games, I should say. Old IPs, but I played a fighter, boss. I'm playing a fighter. What is the Discord? It's in the description down below. In the description down below. Eastside says, I don't think Spider-Man 2 will get nominated. If it doesn't, I don't think Jedi Survivor is going to get nominated, right? And I think that, I know a lot of people are having problems with it, but the game, right? They don't look at when people vote for games in the industry, they're not looking at what was buggy or not buggy. They're looking at what the industry looks at, right? So I don't think Star Wars gets it. I would be very shocked if Spider-Man doesn't get it, like nominated, but there's so many games this year, could possibly not make it. I put 25 hours into Baldur's Gate 3 and actually think it's terrible. Is it just me, or am I doing something wrong? You might be doing something wrong, and I understand when I first started playing, I was having a lot of problems with the combat system and stuff like that. And you got to remember that you don't have to fight everything, right? You get as much same XP as you do when talking to someone as you do with fighting somebody. So if you're playing it in a certain way, like you're trying to play it as like a die-hard hack and slash type of thing where you want to fight everybody, that could be your issue. I'm not sure, Barry. It all depends on each their own. Chris B says, I can argue that Game Pass obscure games with the burden of choice, but for a hit game, it can have the opposite effect. For a small studio, a hit game on Game Pass would drive up sequel sales. Sure, but they don't make any more money off of it, Chris. If it's an independent game, let's say like Tunic didn't make money off of people playing it on Game Pass. They made money because Game Pass paid the money up front, right? There's no microtransactions or anything. So they bought that money up front, meaning that the developer itself made money. It made money off the other platforms as well, but they get enough percentage of whatever it is. Let's say it was just an Xbox exclusive. They would either pay them close or at the price that they thought they were going to make, right? And I would assume, and again, there's no proof of this, but I would assume they would go up to the developer, an independent developer, and go, how many copies were you looking to sell? They'll be like, well, we're looking to make this much to make our money back on this. And then Microsoft goes, all right, here you go, right? Because if they're not going to sell any more outside of their wheelhouse, then they have to make the money back so they can make the next game. And that's no stress now, right? The Tunic developer of one guy now made enough money, per se, off of just the deal he made with Game Pass, where he can go make the next game that he wants to make, right? I expect the top 4 contenders battling for first will be Starfield, Spider-Man, Hogwarts, and Tears of Kingdom. I think there's a possibility that Final Fantasy 16 doesn't make the cut. I wouldn't be surprised if a big title that we're all thinking of doesn't make it. Unless they open up to a 7th position. Akuta Papa says, remakes don't stand a chance. Oh, wrong one. Don't stand a chance this year. I agree. I agree. If this was a light year, I think remakes make it. I don't think remakes make it into the top 6. We're actually going to have a story about the reboot in a second, TSM. Elden Ring comes back for a second run at Design Them All. The dev from Tunic said he loved Game Pass, didn't he? The publishers said they loved it because it was early on. The publisher that released Tunic said Tunic was successful because there wasn't as many competition, and it was early on in the life cycle of the console, right? They said that it would also become dramatically more harder for independent companies once the big name titles come out. So like the more first-party titles that you have come out and put on Game Pass and the more other independents that come out on Game Pass, it gets saturated where it wouldn't work out for them. What's going on, Stu? Barry says, I think you're great on Reforged Gaming, and that's what brought me to your channel. But I still get the feeling Lono got bias against Microsoft. I would say you're best to judge. I think what Lono does, I think he is fair of what he says, right? I think people that think someone else is biased is because they love something so much and they don't like anyone talking bad about the thing that they love, right? If you go look at his videos, and I don't watch Lono as much as I used to because I stream during the same time frame as him, but most of the stuff he does, he gives you the facts of what it is, and then he gives you his opinion. Same thing that I do. And he's critical of certain things because his standards of certain games is he wants them to be good, right? So a lot of people that come in, I mean, if you look at his videos, I'm not going to go to his channel right now and look, but if you look at his videos and the topics he talks about, he's pretty good. But again, if you love something and someone doesn't like something that you love, you're going to think he's biased. Eastside says, I don't think Hogwarts gets the nod because of the controversy. The game industry is pretty liberal. I think that would be a downright shame, Eastside, if we find out the game doesn't get nominated because of someone's political views that had nothing to do with the game, that is shit. That is a shit take. And if that comes out, if that ever comes out, it leaks out that they didn't pick it because of the controversy, then Jeff Keighley has just shot his video game award show out the door. Okay? Because integrity is everything. And if you're judging somebody or something based on something that has nothing to do with that, that's a shame. That's a shame. That game is a wonderful game. And if you're judging it based on someone's viewpoint, which they have every right to do, and they had nothing to do with the actual game, that's sad. That's a sad state of affairs. Big T says too many good IPs to remake a win this year. That's right. I any other year, if there was a remake, I think it's in. This year, I don't think so. Starfield wins most anticipated. Final Fantasy 16 wins either graphics or music. Oh, Final Fantasy 16 will win awards. We're talking Game of the Year though, and I don't think I think it might get knocked out of Game of the Year. It won't ever come out. Just a hunch. I mean, I hear what you're saying. And there are people like that. I worked in the film industry. It's very liberal. Okay. Not to say I'm not liberal or Republican. I'm just saying it's very liberal. It leans very, very much to that side. So, but from an integrity standpoint, if the people that are voting on their Patreons inside the industry are rooting against a game because of someone that had nothing to do with the game, that fundamentally breaks the whole purpose of the award show for the video games, right? For them voting, because at that point, you might as well not let any insiders that are part of the industry, other developers, other studios vote on who they think their patrons are that make a better game or whatnot, or strive to be a good game. Because at that point, you might as well just make it for just regular people and popularity vote, which the popularity vote's only 10%. Now, obviously, I understand the Video Game Award show is for advertisers to make money for Jeff Keighley and whatnot. But the integrity of it is that they're putting the best of the best games out there. And they would be... Now, you could swing it the other way. Maybe it gets nominated so they don't get the hate. Because if it doesn't get nominated, maybe people all of a sudden assume it's because of the controversy. Right? So, on that fact, I think it would be smarter for them to nominate it and be one of the 6. And it just doesn't win, which is fine because it's still nominated. What's the most obscure game you've played this year that's a must play? Looking something to fill in the Starfield gap. I play a lot of independent stuff. Like right now I'm playing Legend Bowl, which is a independent, small little studio called Top Hat that makes, it's a football game. It's like what Madden used to be back in the day, back in like in the early 80s and 90s, right? It's an 8-bit, 16-bit football game, which is obscure if you like sports games. Very good football game, okay? And I mean that. It's a very good football game. It's just pixelated, right? I played Oxenfree 2, which I don't know if you like that type of games. I would look it up. We have a gameplay footage of it on our channel. I would recommend you play Oxenfree 1. It's not a must that you have to play, but Oxenfree is an older game back from 2016. Wonderful, wonderful story little game. What's another game? If you want to just pass time, I don't know if you like stupid simulator type games, but Power Wash Simulator is a fun, tranquil game that you can have in the play that while you're listening to like podcasts or anything else in the background. And there is a story, but there's no dialogue or anything in the game. So those are obscure. What else did we play? Starship Troopers is a fun game. Main reason I don't give award shows any credit. Well, Quintar, the original award shows in the film industry back in the old days was just done in a little banquet hall. It's a little banquet hall. And it was people in the industry like celebrating people in the industry. And then television happened. And people were like, we could televise this. And then they became a more of a marketable thing. Now it's laughed at, right? That's basically what Keely's trying to do with the video game. It's the video game people in the industry celebrating people in the game in the industry, and he's marketing it with advertisements and, promoting different games and whatnot. So you shouldn't take the video game award show as the one all be all, because there's not an official, it's just his award show. But it does give you kind of a glimpse of, because you're in the know, because we're the minority in this industry, where you watch a bunch of videos, you watch YouTubers, you read articles, and you know a lot about the industry. Where the mainstream, they don't know anything, right? They know nothing. They only know what they see. This is why when you go to the movies now, there's Call of Duty advertisements, or there's Xbox advertisements, because they're trying to promote that to the mainstream people. So I think it's unnecessary to see, most people won't even know what Starfield is. Like, what's Starfield? I saw it on a billboard. I don't know what it is, but they might watch the award show and go, "Oh, I saw that on a billboard, and it's Game of the Year. Oh, maybe I'll pick it up." Right? And that's a win, and it is an advertisement, right? Because think about this: you think Starfield's not going to make it on the list? Starfield not making the list is a huge no-no for Microsoft to promote Game Pass. If Starfield is promoted in December as it's a wonderful game and it's on Game Pass and it's nominated for Game of the Year, Xbox sales go up, Game Pass sales go up, right? It's definitely a marketing ploy. Crispy says the Hogwarts game had a trans character in it, which should distance itself from the whole controversy. Yeah, but that's also a controversy on itself, right? Because there was an article that they kind of threw that in the last second. That character wasn't in the game, and then they was in the game or had a different role in the game. To me, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Firewatch Sim has an epic story about aliens, time travel, saving a whale world. Let's play. True. Armor Core could be a surprise. Oxenfree is a great. Now, you might not like Oxenfree. I'll be honest, Barry. It's a great little psychological story. It's a. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you remember playing games like King's Quest, Police Quest type of stuff. That's what type of game Oxenfree reminds me of, right? It's a point click, pick a dialogue type of stuff. But the story itself is it's a good one. The second one's a good one. I didn't think it's as good as the first one, but I do recommend playing Oxenfree 2 as well if you like Oxenfree. Alien says, we're video game nerds. No other way to put it. That's true. True. I expect Starfield ads on NFL games, maybe even NCAA after release. Phantom Liberty in NCAA. Oh, for sure. Sure. It's definitely going to go. I don't know if it'll be specific Starfield ads, though, right? Chapter 8? I think it'll be a Starfield ad, right? Let me preface this. It'll be a Starfield ad, and I'll say, now on Game Pass. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's a double advertisement. Folks don't like J.K. Rowling getting royalties from Hogwarts. Tough shit. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You as fans can't like a story that she made and then hate the person that made the story. I mean, you can, but you can't be mad because she's making money off something that you beloved. Do you know what I mean? Right? She's literally the most successful like author because of the Harry Potter film books, and then she made a shit ton of money off the movies, and now she has a take, not a good take, not a bad take, a take, and people don't like it. Tough shit. I don't even know what that is. Let me look it up. Blasphemous 2. Blasphemous. Let's see. It's a ruthless platformer game set in the dark, nightmarish world where Metroidvania-style gameplay. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. We have two massive hitters with the history of Bethesda has a record of Game of the Year, and FromSoft has a record too. Tears might get it, but not a new IP, and people were a bit disappointed. I'm not looking for Hogwarts to get Game of the Year, right? I'm not looking for it to get Game of the Year, but I think it should be nominated for Game of the Year. Triple advertisement, Starfield, now on Xbox Game Pass. That's true. There you go, triple. People aren't mad she's making money off her IP. They're upset people are spending money on the IP knowing her views because of them. The Harry Potter books and JKR were what made them feel safe as kids. Sure. But I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, right? It's one person's point of view, right? So then pretend that she's the villain and then root against her. But if you don't, like, the morals kick in here. If you loved Harry Potter and you have the books, and now she said something to offend you, okay, then burn the books. Throw the books away and then don't support her. That's the best way you can do it, right? But the people that are supporting her, if you can separate, like, your love for what she made and then her personal, like, I don't love the political views of actors, but I do love actors in certain roles, right? And I can personally separate Tiger Woods' cocaine habit that he had and his golf game, right? I might not agree with him that he's a drug user back in the day, okay? And then he slept around on his wife or whatever, but that has nothing to do with him being one of the greatest golfers of all time. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're good, Eastside. Nothing's off, and I'll tell you if it's bad or not. I don't. Some people just stir up the conversation. It'll go down the wrong path. That's all. Elden Ring was a new IP and it won. Just because something is new doesn't mean it shouldn't be counted out of the running. No, absolutely not. I just think that when Elden Ring came out, the landscape, what was it? It was up against God of War, so it was like two big. There's like 5 or 6 big games this year. I'm the same way, Barry. I can't get offended. But have you tried cocaine? They're buying used books and not buying new products like Hogwarts Legacy. The ones who are pursuing or bullying others to do the same, I don't agree with, obviously, but I do get it. Sure, right. Each person has their own set of morals and whatnot, right? And if you choose to not shop at a store because you don't like the owner and what they do, or you want to boycott a business, by all means, stand by it, right? Sometimes it's lonely at the top, right? Sometimes you have to take a stand and it's lonely because everybody else might go one way and you might be the only one standing there going, I am not doing this. I'm not buying this. I'm not reading this. I'm not watching this. And everyone else is like, man, I'm loving it. Oh, it's the greatest book I've ever read. Oh, greatest movie I've ever seen. Oh, it's so much fun, so much entertaining. And if you want to sit there and be like, no, I never played it because of the reason, right? Exactly, Big T. Exactly. Up against God of War. Was it one of the Horizon games? No, Horizon wasn't up against the same year as God of War, was it? You might be right. What was it? 2018, wasn't it? 2018. Let's see. 2018 was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong one. 2022, right? Last year. It was. You are correct. You are correct. It was Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West. What's the other one? God of War, Horizon, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, okay, let's play a little game, right? Out of those games and the games that are coming out this year, what would you put in it, right? Xenoblade Chronicles, I don't think would be there. I don't think Stray would be in there. I don't think Forza Horizon, or not Forza, Horizon Forbidden West would be there. I don't think Plague Tale would be there. I think Elden Ring would still be in the running. I think God of War Ragnarok would still be in the running. Good joke, he said. And if it's not a joke, good job. I'm a black man. I've boycotted all cotton clothing. Can you guess my 2024 nomination for Game of the Year? I'm trying to think. You like Diablo, Akuta Papa, don't you? I don't say Ragnarok, Elden Ring is a bit of a stretch, but maybe. You think Elden Ring wouldn't be in the running this year? What's my reasoning for not getting a PlayStation 5? Oh, it's very simple. I don't have the money for it. Right? So I had money, and because I'm a streamer, I save up everything I make from the stream here, I invest back into the thing, right? I'm a stay-at-home dad. So when I'm not streaming for the 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I take care of the house. I live on a farm as well, so I do farm stuff, and then I also take care of my son. So I don't have a lot of money to go around buying a lot of stuff to keep my hobby running, right? So $500, it was either get a new graphics card or get a PlayStation 5, right? And I don't need a PlayStation 5 right now. So I did need a new graphics card because I went from a 960 to a 3060. Okay. So I got a new graphics card to upgrade my computer. And at the time, I don't really need it because there's games that are coming out that I'm not really interested in. They're like fantastic games, but I don't really want it. But what people would want you to believe is that I hate PlayStation, that I'm an Xbox shill. But the only reason I don't have a PlayStation 5 is because I can't afford it. That's it. There's no like, oh, I hate the way that Sony's doing this. Right? Like, you know what I mean? So it's it. I just couldn't afford it. And down the line, I'm thinking about, do I want to buy, like this Christmas, I was thinking about picking up one of the virtual reality like headpieces, like the Quest 3 or whatever. But I don't know if I really want to do that or if I want to get another microphone or whatever it is, right? Make my stream a little bit better or whatnot. So yeah, Spider-Man's coming out. I want to play Spider-Man, but at the same time, I don't really need to play Spider-Man. I'm 45 years old. I don't really need to play anything day one. I do a lot of stuff, and I have to try to figure out what game would get more traction for me or in longevity of a game. And Spider-Man 2, to play $500 to get Spider-Man 2, if I got a bundle, spent $500, $600 on a console, and then make some gameplay. That gameplay is going to be done like this because it's a single-player game, and nobody's going to watch because they want to play the game themselves. And then people that want to play it afterwards, that's just not the content that I create, right? Where a game like Starfield, right? One, it's on Game Pass, so it saves me money, right? Two, I can play and get longevity out of that because I can make different videos out of it. I can make fun of it. There's a bunch of different things as a content creator I can do. But I think that's D-Money. I think D-Money. I think that the point there is I don't think anyone needs all consoles all the time, right? I think if you're a PC user, you could just wait for the games to come out for PC, right? If you're an Xbox guy, you could just play the games on Ultimate. So I think if you have a Switch and a PC, I think you're good. I think if you have a PC and an Xbox, you're good. I think if you have a PlayStation and a PC, you're good, right? I think it covers your bases across the board if you're a gamer. Redfall, Gollum, Forspoken, Ravenbound, Crime Boss are my Game of the Year nominees. Man, That's what's that award show, Kylo? Is it called the Razzies? Is that what it's called? Or like the worst like movies that are out there? Oh, sure. Blame your son for being a Microsoft shill. No, I didn't blame my son at all. No, as a parent, right? Chapter 8, as a parent, right? And I know you're messing with me, but as a parent, if you have $500 to spend on a console, okay, what are you buying? One, you can't buy a PC for $500. If you can, you can buy a laptop, but you're not really playing a lot of games on that, right? If you have $500, you're buying a PlayStation, and then you're paying for PlayStation Plus on top of that. Or I can get a Series S, right? A Series S for $300, and then give him Game Pass for a full year for $180 at the time, right? And he's got hundreds of games to play on a system, and he doesn't give a shit if it's 60 frames, 30 frames, 4K, 2K. He's literally just loving being a kid playing video games. I don't want to make a big argument, but I think Rowling's comments were blown out of proportion. Oh, they were 100%, I think. Big T were out of proportion. But, you know, people are going to be upset no matter what. Go on, Ron Slusher. Will Starfield be another Cyberpunk situation when the PC version is great, but the console version is unplayable? That's always going to be a question, right? If it comes out and it's a fantastic game, we're not even going to get to Delta Force. We're gonna have to move that. So the person that asked about Delta Force, we're gonna probably move that over to tomorrow for Delta Force. We're not gonna have time to talk about that. So yeah, I think it has a potential of coming out as a Cyberpunk situation, right? And if it does, well, it could be great for one and then bad for the other consoles. Does that mean it's a great game, or does that mean it's bad? It means it's bad because you don't take the good without taking the bad, right? So if it comes out and it's broken, buggy, it's gonna be a shame. Now, is it broken buggy where it's unplayable, like certain games have been in the past, or is it just Bethesda buggy, not Fallout 76 Bethesda buggy, like Fallout 3 Bethesda buggy, or Fallout 4 or Skyrim buggy? I think if there's more pros than cons and it's enjoyable, then that's fine. But if it's downright broke, buggy out, coming out, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like a Redfall, that's a different subject. Can't afford a PlayStation 5. That's pretty. I don't need to justify what I can afford and can't afford, boss. There's other things in life than me buying every single console. Again, like, I don't know if you can see. I have all the consoles ever made except the PlayStation 5. I love games. I play games where I want to play games. I have the 360. I have the Xbox One. I have the PlayStation 2. I have a PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 4. Like, I have everything, but sometimes I just can't get the things I want. I am not single. I own a house. I pay. I have responsibilities, right? So sometimes the money that comes to me doesn't come to me. Yeah, the Razzies, that's what it is. You buy Xbox for Game Pass, especially for your kids. Especially for your kids. Amir says, I buy parts for my PC. That's what I did. I bought a almost $500 graphics card. Give me Skyrim buggy for 1,000, please. All right, I have a couple of questions that were submitted, so I'm going to read these now. Travis says, it's fundamental flaw in movies and games that are no longer fun. Like, do you think people could look past all the messages if they were still fun to watch? You're talking about like the woke stuff, right, Travis? I do. I think if people don't feel like they're being preached to, I think they can look past a lot of the stuff that's being said in movies and television shows, right? I just watched a movie just this past last weekend. It's called Jules. It's a movie with Ben Kingsley. It's about an alien that comes crashing down, and it's a real just nice small little film. And there's a line that they say in it. Doesn't mean it's a woke movie in any way, shape, or form, but it takes place during today. And so they make a reference towards it, right? It's three old people, and they talk about their grandkids and whatnot. And in any way, shape, or form did I go, oh, I'm done with this movie? No, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, it's just a reference towards it. It wasn't preaching to me in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's the difference. Second question, Travis says, do you think Baldur's Gate 3 gets snubbed solely because it would change the industry and they want people to stay as content with what they're doing instead of getting better? A good question. I don't think that happens. I think that's the same way as someone saying that the Hogwarts won't get because of the controversy, right? To say the controversy behind Baldur's Gate 3 is that the standards raise, that is the integrity of the whole industry falls if it doesn't get nominated because of that. So I'm going to say no, it still gets nominated because it's a wonderful game. And Boo says, we know that Starfield will have full mod support, and it's obvious that PC will obviously get day one, but do you think that the consoles will have full... We already got that one. I already answered that one. Little Creepy Monsters says, Cryptid Ultimate, but Cryptid's going to adjust. I don't know what that means. So we're going to go to your next question. I'm on the Ultimate, but I'm just going to buy Starfield for 100 edition. And I guess so. I feel like I own the full game. If you want to buy the game, you can buy the game. When me and Sarge say on the podcast, like, who's going to buy it, right? We're talking about the masses. Like, not the masses are not going to buy Starfield. The masses are going to try Starfield, and maybe they buy it afterwards, but I think the masses don't buy it. The minority buys it, and I think that's fine. That's just the fan base, right? Big T says, I saw the first Slam Dunk in the theater yesterday. It's an animated about basketball. Best movie I've seen all year. Would you ever watch an animated movie about basketball? I would. I didn't know it was out. I don't get a lot of time to go out to the theaters. We have to pick and choose what we can watch. Getting my son to go see Jules, he didn't want to go see it. And then after he watched, he's like, oh, it's actually pretty good, right? So we have to pick and choose. The next movie we're going to see, his birthday is this weekend. So he wanted to go see Gran Turismo because he likes playing racing games. He plays Forza. He plays Forza Motorsports, Forza Horizon. He likes those kind of racing games. And he's like, oh, cool. Someone became a pro racer because of video games. So he wants to go watch that. So we're going to go watch. It's like PG-13. So I think my wife curses more than the movie will. So I think we're good. Yeah, so we're interested. Yeah, I like a lot of stuff. Right now I'm on a kick. I'm watching a lot of Taskmaster. So I'm going through season after season after season of Taskmaster because the world is such a dark and like miserable place right now. I want some laughter, so I've been watching a lot of comedies and whatnot. Aliens is one of the best movies ever. Oh, for sure. I didn't see Annihilation. That's the newer ones, right? Anything from like 2014 to now, I didn't see because, well, kid. Yeah, so Abu, when you put the questions inside the questions, I look at later. Those are there. If you put a question in chat, you put one in the chat, which is the same as the one that you put inside here. So basically, the way I want to do this in the future is that we have 3 topics that we're going to talk about, right? And like the very first question that Travis asked before we even went live was something that wasn't pertinent to the actual topic. I don't want to like go off on a tangent off topic in the beginning of the show. I would rather do the stories first, and then once we're done with the 3 stories, then we can dive into different questions and different topics and stuff. Because if people are watching for the topics, then they get what they came for, and then we can go into extra stuff, and it's like bonus stuff. Eastside says Game Pass is great because of the option to buy or rent. Well, even when you buy, you're still renting, especially with most games nowadays that you don't own. Even games that are single-player games they can shut down the servers anytime. So there's a lot of games. Like, and here's the perfect example, right? I don't know if you played Destiny Eastside. Well, right now you can go play Destiny 1. You can play the whole game, the whole story, Destiny 1. You can play all the DLCs. You can play the entire game. Years from now, you can still play the game because it's on the disc and that's what you can play. Okay. Destiny 2, you cannot play the original story of Destiny 2, right? And you don't own it. And that's the difference between owning, buying, and renting. And when you buy stuff now, if it's a live service game or if it's an always online type of game, then you do not own that game. You're renting a license. Or you're buying a license temporarily. Yeah. Yeah, you won't get it. If you write into there, it automatically goes into the questions. It's a separate tab for me. So you know where you go into the chat and it says live chat or top chat. I have one more thing. It says live chat, top chat, question chat, or questions. So when you click on that blue bar up above and then write into that, it goes into that thing. So if you write in there, I get it. I have it. It's just I'm not reading it and I look back at it later. So what I'm trying to do is if you have a question about a topic or something, if it's a question about the topic we're talking about, you can put it in the normal chat. If it's an outside question, which is, like someone's asking me, what would you recommend for a game or something like that? You could put that. If I don't read it, because chat, we're a small channel now, right? Hopefully one day we'll be a bigger channel and chat might move a little bit faster. I might miss it. So if you have a question like that, if we start to condition you guys to put those types of questions inside the question thing, then I'll be able to read it. You know what I mean? The bad part about the question thing, which I don't like, is that if I close the questions down, it deletes my whole question thing, right? So I wish there was a way to close it so no more people could ask questions. So once they're submitted, and I have, like, if I have 10 or 15, then, because you never know how many you're going to get to. All right, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be playing some video games. I'm not sure which one. We might jump back in, because I asked Dupless the other day if he would play Fallout 76. I don't know if we're going to play that tonight. I got to ask if he's available tonight, because I want to kind of go in with somebody else. But we might go into 76 just to see what's new, see what's in the game, and kind of just play around and whatnot. Tomorrow, we're going to do our normal show here, and then we're going to go into, it's going to be a really long show tomorrow. So we're doing our morning show from 10 o'clock till noon. We'll probably take a small break so I can go eat lunch. Maybe I'll eat lunch on stream. And then we're going to go into Gamescom, because Gamescom starts at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to cover it. My wife said she would cover for me to pick up the son from school. So she's going to go pick up the kid. We're going to cover Gamescom live tomorrow on this channel. So if you guys like that, come on by and hang out with us. And then tomorrow evening, we're going to play some more video games. The last 2 weeks, we've been playing Transformers War of Cybertron. Then we played Transformers Fall of Cybertron on the 360. We're all done with that. So we're just filling in the gap right now until Starfield comes out. So we might jump back into Starship Troopers, which is a PC game. We might jump back in to Battlefield 2042, look at the new season that's coming out. There's lots of different things we do. We always talk about conversations, and we have more of a low-key type of stream. It's not about me, debating anybody. It's me going over the news and having conversations with you guys in chat, and you guys are 100% part of the show. So, and when I say guys, no one get offended. Just what I say, right? So I appreciate everyone coming in and hanging out with us in the mornings from 10 o'clock till noon Eastern. If you want to submit stories, we have a submit in our Discord. All of you guys that are new, we have a submission story area that if you go to our Discord, we have polls, we have different things that you can come into, but we have a submit story section. Been doing this for 6 years. You can just submit stories. right? It's not a place where you can talk about the stories. If you want to talk about the stories, you can make a thread about the story, or there's other channels that you can also join. The server's pretty much closed off to people that are not members. If you're not a member, you can submit stories, you can talk in our general chat, and you can take our polls and stuff like that. But other than that, if you're not a member of our channel here on YouTube, then you can't get access to a lot of other areas inside our Discord. So we do this Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out. Let me read chat real fast before we say goodbye. Option to buy or rent. Yeah, I didn't like the notification saying that my question had been received. Yep, so we're good there. Fallout 76 and Halo have really turned it around. Me and Sarge were talking the other day, Isai. We have not played Halo Infinite. We have not played Halo Infinite. I played the multiplayer of Halo Infinite when it came out, when it first launched, but we have not played the campaign. Sarge was saying, should we play the campaign together? Because we played every Halo together in a co-op campaign, and we had to wait for it to come out. And we were kind of pissed off that it was unfinished before, when it came out at launch. So we might actually go back and play it. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but we're talking about we might play some Halo Infinite. Is tomorrow the 23rd? No, tomorrow is the 22nd. 22nd is when it comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern. Did I mean Wednesday? Nope, I meant Tuesday. It's on the 22nd at 2 p.m. I'm offended by anyone who gets offended. The player numbers are down, but the game is good. Good now. That's a. I hate that we say that. Right? I'm not saying you. I hate as a society, as customers of video games, we're like, No Man's Sky is great now. Fallout 76 is great now. Cyberpunk is great now. 2042 is great now. It's like holy Christ. Why do we do this to ourselves? Right? People playing Wayfinder this weekend, okay? I played Wayfinder. I was in 2 closed betas, right? Thought the game was great. Early access, people pay $15, people pay $50, people pay $100, people pay $150 to play this game early access, and they're waiting in fucking queue lines, right? That pisses me off, okay? Because they're paying for you to test out their stuff, right? When are we going to stop doing this? People are like, I sat in queue for 4 hours to play for an hour session, and it's like they're okay with it. It's like we're zombies and we're okay with it. Or the story was good for Halo Infinite. Never went back to it. Soups, we played the multiplayer. What's the big battles called? I forget what the big battles are called. It might be called big battles. The big maps, whatever. I had fun playing the multiplayer. I was pissed off. I refused to play Halo Infinite when it launched because I knew it was an incomplete game. Incomplete meaning me and Sarge have played every single Halo campaign together at launch. This game came out at launch with no co-op. And I was like, how the hell are you doing this, right? And more comes by, and more split screens not working out, more co-op not working out. And it's like, well, what's the problem? Should be great release. Imagine buying a car and being told it was great down the road. How about this? How about buying a car, but you can only go to 0 to 30 miles an hour, right? You have the car, but it limits you at 30 miles an hour. And we haven't implemented the speed yet, so you're going to have to just ride around in a 30-mile-an-hour car. It's like, what? This is why AAA devs crap their pants in regards of Baldur's Gate 3. They don't want the status quo to change. I think we're also blowing that out of proportion, though. I do. No one's saying that an independent game needs to come out and it needs to strive to be like Baldur's Gate 3. What we're saying is a game to come out and be complete when it launches. That's what people are talking about. And Baldur's Gate 3 still has bugs and glitches. Okay, but it's a complete game with no microtransactions. You know what I mean? Buying a plane ticket, experience comes later. Exactly. Like, It's the only field, the only industry I know that we can buy stuff and we're okay with it 6 months down the line. Go to a restaurant, ask for a steak, and then send it back. And then when it comes out again, go, oh, it's still not cooked. And they go, oh, we'll send it back again. And see how kindly you take that. When you're in the theater for 45, or when you're at the restaurant for 45 minutes waiting for your steak and it's been cooked 3 different times, right? See how much you pay for the bill without bitching, right? Just kindly go, oh, thank you so much for cooking my steak for 3 times. Yeah, it's like you pay for a full glass of water, right? I pay for this glass of water, okay? But that's where it comes when you first buy it. You pay full price. And they're like, that's what you get. You're like, but I paid for a full glass. Oh, we'll get you more water in 30 minutes. Let's be honest. If you send back it twice, they're putting dandruff in your steak and dropping it on the water. Yeah. Like, this guy sent it back again. They'll be like, son of a bitch. Yeah. It would be bad. I wouldn't take it back. See, when I complain about something at a restaurant, I bring the server over, right? I don't make a big scene. I don't want the other patrons to hear me. I'm like, excuse me. This potato was undercooked. Oh, do you want? Like, no, I don't want it now. I said, but I'm just letting you know. You tell the cook that they undercooked it, right? I don't want my money back, right? Right? And they're like, oh, I'll give you a free dessert. Fine, give me free dessert. But can you please, for the love of God, go back to the kitchen and tell the guy or girl that they didn't cook the food, okay? I get irritated if we eat the food because I've seen the firsthand watching. Oh yeah. No, it never goes back. It never goes back. There's people licking ice cream at the store. You think I'm sending my steak back to the kitchen? God no. God no. I'm not sending anything back. That's gone. Like, if the steak comes out and it's not cooked, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And they're like, do you want anything else? I'm like, nah, I'm good. Right? You get that meal for free, and then you never come back to the restaurant again. Here's the thing with early access games, right? Like Wayfinder and any other game that came out. If you're gonna charge $15, okay, the game, I can't be waiting in a queue. And someone says, well, it's only $15 and you're not waiting that long. No, stop. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. If I'm paying money to play a game and I can't play that game, you are the problem at that point, right? Let's all admit that we are the problem. If you're sitting there constantly going like this and refreshing, you're constantly refreshing because it says I'm in a queue. And I'm putting all of us in the same category. I, you, us, we have issues, right? You're like, oh, I can't get into the server. I'm 16,000 to the thing, and you wait 3 hours, and then all of a sudden you get kicked out again, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do it again, right? That is a problem. That is a problem, and the only way it solves, right? The only way it changes is if we fundamentally say, no, I'm not dealing with this anymore. When your game is done and it's proven that it's working, let us know. Let us know. Wayfinder is great. The servers are trash, therefore Wayfinder isn't playable at the time, and they will need to give us our EA refund, at least something of value, and we can use it. But here's the next problem, Water. I don't know about that company itself, right? Are they giving refunds? Probably no one's asking for refunds. And if they are asking for refunds, they probably won't give you a refund. They'll probably just give you a microtransaction in the store when it opens up. Create the problem. Consumers, yeah, we keep it going, right? No one likes microtransactions. Then why are more microtransactions coming out in the world? Because people are buying more microtransactions. Games are incomplete. Why are more games coming out incomplete? Because we keep playing games that are incomplete. If you show them, right, it's so simple, right? If a dog or cat does something bad and you don't discipline them at that moment, they don't know they're doing anything bad, right? They'll do exactly the same thing again. They're like, no, my dog doesn't do that. He just pissed his leg. And you're like, no. If you don't take it right then and there, okay? And I'm not talking about beating your dog or anything. I'm just saying if you don't discipline and say, hey, you can't do that, they're like, oh, I'm just still going to do it, right? Make the problem, sell the solution, right? Our game's coming out. Help us test it with the alpha this weekend. Help us test it with the beta this weekend. Hey, we're coming out in early access. Here's $14. Here's $15. Here's $150 for your game that hasn't been proven yet. Great. It comes out in beta next week. I can't get in because the servers are down. Okay. And again, this is not me talking about Wayfinder. This is me talking about any game that's come out in the last 5 years out of early access, beta, preview, whatever, even gold. Right? Nothing happens if you wait. Nothing happens. Nothing. Starfield comes out on the 1st for early access. If you don't want it, don't buy it. Wait. They're literally giving it to you for $17 a month. If you buy it day one and you're disappointed, you don't like it, it's not for you, right? It's all your fault. Just know that. If you buy a game and you're like, this is not for me, it's nobody's fault but you. You can wait. You can do excess, like looking at people, watching gameplay, reading articles, seeing it, right? You do not have to buy something day one. When can you play your Starfield review code? I don't have a Starfield review code. Never had a Starfield review code. If you're talking about what we was said on Lono's channel, we were talking about Keymailer. Keymailer is a place that gives you early access to games. Okay? If it's not a review code, it's just early access, meaning if they reach out to content creators that they want to give so they can play the game when it comes out, it gives you early access on September 1st. It's the same as if someone paid $100 version of the game. Okay? The only difference is I'm not paying $100 for that game. No, I don't have a review code. There's no review code. No review code. Never was a review code. And what Lono was talking about in that clip that everyone's talking about, he's not talking about a review code. He's talking about a Keymailer code that he gets on September 1st, but he already purchased the game. The only difference is then is if you purchase the game, right, and then you get a code for Keymailer, it gives us credit. So basically credit meaning with Keymailer. So if I buy Starfield and then they give me a code, I claim the code, right? I claim the code and then play Starfield. And then I put up my review, I put up my gameplay, and it goes, okay, this person is dependable because not only do they said they would play the game or review the game, they are now doing that, and they uploaded their information. So the next game that comes out, if it's early access or not, they'll give us a code so we can play ahead of time, right? That's what it is. It's not a review copy. Hence why it's going out on the 1st and not going out 2 weeks before. Yeah, it's Bungie's motto. The state of game created a problem. Joe Blackburn sold the solution, and then people bought that. Hook, line, and sinker. I didn't like his apology. You know what I got out of that apology as my voice cracks at the age of 45? Right? I got out of that apology that they know they fucked up. They know they fucked up so bad that the regular jargon of we're sorry is not going to work this time. Okay? So he literally came out on his own, like a guerrilla marketing type of thing, and then did what he said. What he did. This might be a business proposition. I think it would sell very well. For what, Akuda? A new game, WWKE, World Wrestling Karen Entertainment. Come watch as two Karens wrestle it to be the most Karen of Karens. Like a battle royale. That's actually pretty good. Independent developer should make that. It's a battle royale game. It's everyone's a Karen. It's just crazy people looking, all Karens. They all fighting each other to be the best Karen of overall. Give me 1 second. All right. Welcome to the WWKE. Oh man, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. Good stuff. Sorry about that. All right, 12:41. I'm gonna go eat lunch. You guys have a great rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, to play some video games and have a little chat. As always, we also have uploads that we do. We just did a Starfield upload of the Q&A. If you guys want to go watch that, give support. We have playlists of Transformers, Oxenfree. We have videos that I've done over the past couple of months. If you guys haven't seen that stuff, go check that out. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.